Welcome, everyone. My name is Katerina. I am the Executive Director of DesignMorphine. Welcome to the grand finale of our Masters of Science in Computational and Advanced Design program accredited by the University of Architecture, Civil Engineering and Geodesy in Bulgaria. The program is focused on the future of humanity and possible scenarios on how this future might unfold, the impact of technology on humans and their environments, challenges demand innovators to overcome them, new tools and technologies are required to materialize the answers. In this journey, the compass is a scalable notion of the human condition deriving from the human body. Housing, transit systems, as well as the city itself are essential aspects one has to consider when designing for a new reality.
Thank you, Civetti. Super excited to see all of you here. It's always very, very exciting when this time of the year comes, second time around. It's very special this year because exactly like we have already their first year graduating and like we have so many of the students with us. So yeah, it's really a pleasure to have all of our guests with us today. So I'm Pavlina Bardulaki-Pryor, the Creative Director of DesignMorphine, and I'm just going to tell a couple of words about the program itself. The program pushes the boundaries of design and transcends to a multitude of design skills while advancing the students' design and software capabilities immensely. The students learn advanced techniques and design processes from eminent practicing designers and architects, part of the DesignMorphine community. And the Masters is organized in 5 leading design chapters and 5 supporting and technical and conceptual labs that span over the 9-month academic year. So during the design chapters phase, that's where the students start with the generation of a single unit in its new features. And this unit is the enhanced human body. And then they progress to developing more complex architectural entities throughout that, reaching the state and building basically global systems and networks, reaching the state of cosmogony. While throughout the technical labs, they master a variety of software for parametric and generative design like Maya, ZBrush, Rhino, Grasshopper, Houdini, Unreal, C#, etc. So we would really like to thank our educators of being part of this endeavor for us. The chapter leads who are generously sharing their design knowledge and unique software workflows, our core leads who have been by the students' side full-time, and also, of course, incredible students from all around the globe whose passion and dedication to learn basically and bettering themselves are unprecedented, and we're so proud of their achievements and their journey. We are also very thankful for our guests and for your support and time to joining us today and tomorrow. And I'm just going to mention the guests that are joining us for these 2 days. So we have Chad Knight, who is a skateboard legend and an NFT legend also. Oleg Soroko, Head of Procedural Design for War of the World. Yuan Mu, Computational Design Lead at Nike. Anoop Wiprecht, founder of Anoop Project Fashion Tech, Brandon Gobi, lead concept designer at Wilder World, Danny McKillis, CAD and 3D surfacing expert for Logitech Ireland Services Limited, Eric Goldenberg, co-founder of Monad Studio, Marius Tsiliakos, associate partner of Oweson Partners, Leung Patriakova, lead architect at Zaha Hadid Architects, Natasha Alpert, founder at Miras 3D, Pierandrea Angius, senior consultant at Ferrari and studio master at the AADRL, Giuseppe Conti, lead architect at Pininfarina, Arturo Tedeschi, principal at Arturo Tedeschi and author of the algorithm Say the Design that all of our students love, Aldo Solazzo, founder of Numena, Milan Shaukat Bakshish, studio master at AA Tech, Nadia Kutireva, 3D footwear designer at Nike, and also a student of this master's who graduated last year. Carlos Navarro, architect designer at Oweson title, Zvonko Vugoreše, co-founder of Pixolid, Wassam Farhid, who is architectural designer at Foster and Partners, Evan Goldenberg, partner of Mode Lab, Greenberg, I'm sorry, Nicolo Casas, PhD from the Bartlett Faculty of RSD, Helen Mirler, Associate Design Director of UN Studio, Nikita Replansky, founder of R66, Konstantinos Panayotou, founder of Pet Liger, and Dean Collins, 3D footwear designer at Nike, who is also a graduate from the program. So thank you for the patience, and thank you all for joining us. It's going to be some amazing conversations today. I can't wait to start. So I'll hand it over to the first team without further ado. Thank you, guys.
I guess it's me, right?
Yes, perfect.
Hi, everybody. Okay, yeah.
The confusion, guys. We can start with Laura with her project Viria.
Yep. Hi, everybody. My name is Laura Civetti. I'm a designer. Curious and focus on material innovation, computational design, and today I will present you my project called Varia. I pursued this master degree to enhance my computational design skill with the aim to implement them and use them for the application of material to leverage the fashion industry. Using a different array of design tools, we tailor each of the 5 chapters to bring a new imaginary world alive. This is Varia. Varia aims to depict a potential future scenario where the human species seek assistance for extraterrestrial material to survive at the natural disaster of the planet Earth. In the 2040, after nearly 2 centuries of research, the human species finally discovered a new planet called Varia. In Varia, they found a new organism capable of responding to external stimuli, all while maintaining the integrity of its ecosystem, apparently a solution for the ongoing struggle of humanity against the Earth's natural disaster. However, terrestrial technology are not able to study and replicate the organism, which without an environment is losing the ability to transform. In response to this challenge, humans have invited and created Project Necessity, building a settlement on the planet to analyze the new form of life and prepare it to be transported on Earth. With the Project Necessity, humans voluntarily undergo body mutation, transforming its body in cyborg in order to survive at the harsh conditions that the planet presents. The organisms operate as a complex system of multiple parts, which each component play a designer role. These parts have the ability to configure themselves in a very unexpected form, whether sharp or smooth, in a designed layer system. The tessellated skin presents the connector, which is the most external part, the storage membrane, which process and pull the energy, until the absorbent skin, which have the rule to absorb the photons from the electronic magnetic forces. The structure is applied in 3 main parts of the body: the head, the chest, and the abdominal part, which transform the surface skin reacting to external stimuli in a visual tessellated surface, generating negative and positive spaces. The cyborg have maintained the human head while the body is divided into 2 main functions: the protection with the mechanical connection and the skeleton, the system, which is connect the front and the back of the body, the absorption layer, organism, and storage membrane. The maintaining of the human aspect has been important for human voluntary who decided to be part of the necessity mission, but at the same time to be able to be released as a human species in the new planet. I have a problem of connection. The images are not so. Should I carry on? I will carry on. We can go through them later. The internal central system sustain the organism's vitality. The core is formed by the absorbent skin, where the energy from the photon is absorbed by the membranes and transformed into the body through the connector. The implemented skin mutated from the first to the third stage responded to external stimuli, while the protection skin is the most exposed part of the cyborg, such as head, shoulder, and hip, which have the function to protect it from the high atmospheric pressure. In addition to the body, the living environment must also be tailored to suit the condition of the planet. Allow me to introduce you to Cupolaria, the living unit of the cyborg. The Cupolaria units work in expansion logic. From the power system located in internal core to the organism system. In internal core, the work is pump the energy accumulated along the unit by the power infrastructure, and the separation unit from the functional blocks divide the different needs from the human to the cyborg. Therefore, Cupolaria is characterized by the constructed volume, which allows the coexistence of the human species with the cyborg, which are dedicated paths and units. The core is located at the center of the structure, from which the connector branch out and distributes the energy. The internal core, which produces energy, presents variable features that, according to the different environment conditions, create a different configuration to reinforce its surface and implement the energy stored. Cupolaria presented the armor, a deconstructed surface that provided the defense against external stimuli. The main structure, which have the function to connect the units to provide passage. The middle membrane, which has the function to absorb the photons and the electromagnetic forces, until the distribution system, which brings the energy from the core to the units. The main activity in the Cupolaria is the growing lab and the media lab. The space provides a set of structure for the organisms deployed. In fact, stored in a vertical wall, reachable by ramps, are set of series of cell units, which represent a laboratory facility dedicated to the cultivation and study of the organism. In the media lab is presented implementation, positioning their body in the middle of the space, an element called cyber skin injector. The cyber can implement their body with the organism. Cyber skin injector, in fact, is a seamlessly integrated the Cupolaria structure into the cyber body. Soon, the settlement in the planet Varia start to expand in the necessity amalgamation. Analyzing the terrain and the organism distribution, the necessity settlement will gradually expand on top of the organism pool, which will serve as a source of power. The deployment of the amalgamation is divided in three key compositions: the core energy, living space, and connector, each operating with a distinct unit. The design of the aggregation took in consideration the main functionality to fulfill the new life on the planet: the core unit, the transit unit, working unit, and network, which have strategically connected by established point between them, enabling the composition of various amalgamation tailored by different purpose. The core, situated on the fertile ground, fulfill the role of absorbing the energy to the ground. The connection acts as living links between the core, while the horizontal deconstructed platform serves as a hosting structure dedicated to the organism cultivation. The transformation area are populated by the media lab and the growing lab, which are surrounded by storage units for the energy. Finally, the living and the private area reinforce the amalgamation, representing the biggest unit. In the necessity amalgamation, the main areas are connected by transported network. The private network moves inside the amalgamation, connecting all private, such as living and storage units. And the public network connects the shared areas, the plazas and the network and the working. The main station is an additional volume to the necessity amalgamation, hosting the public and the private vehicle. The public vehicle arrived in the superior space, while the private have two dedicated platforms where is stored the dock station. The public vehicle is composed by two volumes. The front used as a public transportation, while the back is a cargo to transport the organism. In the bottom is located the entrance, while in the back is the engine formed by aggregation tools. Internally, the public vehicle has a wide space in order to host multiple functions from the community to the recharge of the body through the cytoskin injector situated in the middle of the space. The Explorer is a private vehicle designed to single-user operation in a various planets, primarily utilized for the long-distance exploration. With the main engine situated on the back to allow the vehicle fly mode, the vehicle is mainly open, presenting the glass and the door as an element to protect the user during the flight. The surface has an extra layer, which is with the function as a sensor skin to warn the user for the weather condition changed. And the back of the vehicle is also the link for the dock station. Over the years spent on the planet, the Explorer gradually undercovered a significant portion of the planet and initiated the construction of the largest system, Antos. Taking as a major consideration the terrain topology, which is characterized by craters that serve as a habitat for the organism, the terrain is divided into distinct elements. The lower part consists with the organism, and the upper part consisted on sand. The active organism is placed at the center of the craters and presents an outward expansion movement, while small weak filaments branch off the mother organism with a function to capturing the energy from the magnetic field forces. And exactly on the hollows of the craters, the first cyborg settlement has been established, taking advantages of the land protection, but also to be close to the origin of the various life. The colony in Varia involves an expansion of the key functions, such as living unit, working unit, and shipping units, defining several configurations according to the terrain. The expansion of necessity amalgamation to create Antos colony is divided in three function amalgamation areas: the cyborg, the human transformation, and the shipment areas. Antos colony can be read in layers. In the first layer, we can find the organism, which have its own subnetwork to move the energy. The first Antos network is a dense connection that transports the organism in form of energy into all the units. The second represented the connection among the amalgamation, connecting the cyborg area with the humans area. And the network to reach the shipping area which has been the connection to the Earth. During the year, the cyborg have created the Antos colony, a set of units capable of coexist with the planet through the network, exploiting the organism as a new form of energy. Antos represent a new living system, a connection through the space with the Earth, and symbol of hope. Thank you for your attention. Teamwork. What do you mean? Should I go now?
Thank you, Laura.
Thank you.
Great opening.
Thank you so much for the incredible work. Everything came together now for the final presentation, all chapters, like a lot of work like that has happened like as a solo team during this academic year. I wanted to ask you, like, for the project, it was like, if you had a 6th chapter, where would you go next?
Like improve something or just an extra?
An extra.
An extra. What about a universe now?
Oh, okay.
To design a universe, the architecture of a new universe.
Yeah, because I know also your passion for materiality also, right? Like, so a lot of like the work that you've done, like it has a lot of sensibility towards that space. And I love how logical everything that you make is, and how you're really showing the work and exhibiting it in this way that you're really showing this logic that drives you from the beginning. And you can feel that this project is, you know, like from the smaller seed really like growing into you know, like all these like new space and new you know, like varia, like so I love really like everything that like you've put in like into the presentations and the videos. So thank you so much. It's a very scientific way of looking at it and presenting it. So congrats from me.
Thank you, Katerina, to guide us to this journey.
Yeah, hey Laura, it's great to follow your process. I also put it in the chat, very in depth on the engineering part, which I always think is good. And yeah, the design is very interesting with both the vertical and horizontal taken in consideration. The docking station I really liked, just the shape of it. It was very gentle. And also nice to see your work with the skin, like the epidermis, right? And then in your video also like seeing the burst of energy. That was like, yeah, I liked it because it combines both the structural and also the organic sort of, and that's what I really liked about your work. So thank you.
Thank you. Should I share my board in the meantime? Like, yeah, I will share my board in the meantime. So
yeah, yes, that would be a good idea.
It was some image that have some luck.
I would like to say good luck, good congratulations, Laura, because your project is very intricate and interesting, and I love to see that you preserve this jewelry-like quality till the very end. So detalization and literally every piece of your work, it can be giant scale or it can be intricate jewelry around our necks. So awesome.
Thank you, Nadia.
Congratulations, Laura, amazing project. Since the beginning, since chapter 1, everything was so cohesive all the time. You have a very unique design for me, with a lot of details, as Nadia mentioned, also great materials, unique patterns, everything is, it's really amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Betty.
Oh, Milad, like you're showing your hands up. Don't just chime in. Don't know.
I don't know. I really don't know how to do this, so just wanted to. This is my first time seeing the work of this this master that you guys are running. It's quite interesting, but for me as an outsider, it also poses a lot of questions. I mean, I'm just gonna put something out there for food for thought to think about it and maybe like initiate some sort of a conversation. I know it's at this stage of speculation and things that may happen in future and may not, but I think it would be quite interesting to define a framework at the beginning within which we can discuss the significance of the work. For example, what I was really hoping to see is the gravity force in this planet. What is the gravity force there, and what are the available like textures and materials over there? Because we are now talking and uncharted territory. We are talking about things that we are just we are imagining. So it would be nice to have some sort of like a framework set initially, then to be able to evaluate and discuss the significance and the impact of the design decisions within those frameworks. You know, the other thing that I found it quite interesting at the same time, like causes a lot of question. I think, I mean, I'm asking you as a designer, like, what happened to the sense of community in that planet? Are we gonna be living in isolation in our pods? Are we gonna go pass by each other in the platforms? Do we get to have some sort of like a new forms of integration to one another's life, new forms of collective experiences? So this is also something that if we wish to be relocated to somewhere outside of what we are already known as our physical environment, I think it puts a very interesting empty canvas for us to think and to speculate over what will be the collective experiences be in the new completely unexplored environment, you know? This is also something that could be very interesting. But I mean, everything else in terms of the technicality, the quality of the work, the imagery, fantastic. I would love to actually explore that planet in a video game and everything. But yeah, I mean, these questions are actually, I think, quite interesting in the framework within which you were working. Some environmental information of the context and like the collectiveness of us if we are going to be transferred to a new species.
Well, I have to say that at the beginning, when we started with the concept, we had this kind of setting down all the thought and since we create a new plan, which are the conditions, but definitely once we start, we have to pick which information we want to take with us in order to inform our design. In this case, yes, I make these questions myself, but since my direction was another, I didn't think like to take in consideration to guide my design, rather take in consideration other aspects. But definitely are interesting. So probably the question of Pavlina before now, which I will investigate more, probably should be investigate more on detailing. Maybe there's many things to do. Unfortunately, we had to be really sharp on picking information and decide which one.
So I just wanted to jump off of Milad's point real quick here. I mean, I love all the detailing. There's a great sense of depth and resolution in most of your designs. I mean, starting from the human suit all the way to the pods and then all the way zooming out to the colony. And to me, as you were explaining and sort of, I was just sort of looking for, what is the fabrication method? What's the real materiality here? And then eventually it kind of hit me that I love how the pod becomes the extension of the body that you create, of the body or the suit that you created. There's a good sense of connection between the materiality of the body that the suit itself and then where they live. And that's a pretty radical statement to make, to where we transformed ourselves to fit the materiality that we're building with. But then I guess the question that comes in, and that goes off of also Pavlina's point, is what do you do next, right? What is the question? What can we push this further? Because you've already done a great job to this point. Is that, what if we reverse it? I mean, is there any way we can preserve some of the human body and then try to use that to influence the construction of the pod? Anything that is considered more raw and less metal and less shiny. And how does that change sort of the colony itself? How does that change the distribution system? How does that change the structural system? And then at that point, I think the interesting part also becomes in the hybridity of things, right? The raw and the metal, the hardness and the softness, right? Yeah. And then even scale plays in slightly differently, right? The difference between the scale of the metal points or textures versus the scale of the texture of the actual human body, whether it's the hair or something that is a skin of some sort, right? So I mean, it's really interesting that you've linked those two and you've become sort of consistent in connecting the materiality of the suit and the pod. But what happens if we sort of go the other way around? Is the question.
Good answer now.
It's a great work. I mean, it's amazing stuff.
Thanks. Sorry, for the other way around, what do you mean? Like from the pod?
So I'm just saying it's you transform the human body, and it's
Yeah.
in terms of, you know, it's to match the pod, right? The construction of the pod, right? Which also very similar in terms of, at least the way you rendered it, that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
And then for me, it's like, what parts of the human body are we preserving, and how much of that is affecting the construction of the pod in reverse,
Yeah.
right? That's what I'm posing.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, well, in my case, I don't know if I will answer correctly your question, or I will be next to the answer. But what I preserve, the humanity has been preserved, the humanity of my storytelling, and I'm thinking that in the next future, the humanity and how the society, also the community, will be preserved. However, we might to adapt in some way. Nowadays, we are already adapting ourselves through clothes. What about we must to adapt ourselves through the skin, because we might to drastically have a change. So in this project, I want to have this kind of investigation. Has been a bit too far. The project is thinking about in the 2040. So, but so what I prefer, what I take is the humanity they had. In fact, in this diagram, they had it preserved the humanity, and then all the body start to slowly changed. Yeah.
Laura, I think that also like here, like what you know, like we have like as comments is also like what is the prompting, right? Like all these changes and how you're thinking like throughout the logic, and because like throughout the program, like this is not an architectural program. It's exactly like posing questions about the future of humanity, and the students basically they are finding their own solutions and their own questions like throughout the program itself. So I think that this is quite interesting, like also Milad, like what you're posing about, like where are the constraints, what exactly are the constraints? So, you know, like they can be like, you know, more meaningful discussion about like this aspect of the work. And many of all of the students actually, like they were very free, like to work with this aspect in the program in order then to create this like very diverse, you know, like answers really like to the design problems that they were setting themselves. And I think that because like we're starting from the human body, right, like, and then growing into like expanding into a bigger space, that's where, you know, like a lot of these questions like are also like posed like into the last chapter, and like how exactly like this cosmogony in this space, like it's actually becoming, and like how it's like actually like segmented and organized. Well, you know, like it would be like the opposite, like if we were like designing as architects in this matter.
If I can just build on that. So Laura, thank you very much for presenting this work. I remember this from over a half year ago. I saw one of your presentations, and I remember vaguely that that maybe one of my comments was that if you're gonna bring a bit more program to your object, that you can then start to characterize different things, because at that time back half a year ago, I had a feeling that it didn't came together all. I have to say that you really progressed the geometry a lot, and it is a much nicer composition now, and it gets together, and you brought it very nicely geometrically, that it makes sense. And but I think you played a little bit more with the body and with the pots than with the actual like the split plan. But you know, that is the way you decided. But as well now, how Paulina was talking about, you know, you have the choice of pick what is the future of humanity in somehow like thinking about your progress and thinking about this project. And about the comments previously, like the materiality or what is the context, and how, you know, we can move it further. I have a feeling that you actually tap into something that was really interesting. It's like how the growing and the technology gets together. So, you know, where you have these this new instance that is growing. We don't really know what it is, and suddenly it's just making everything alive, and how it grows from it, and in a way you're creating a new artificial nature, and your planet is built on this this new energy. And it would be just interesting maybe to you know, if you want to take this project further, or for your future projects, this idea of how actually can in the future the materiality, the design, the geometry behave really as a natural body, and grow and have a different aesthetic, and a different power and a different materiality, that it could be something very interesting to take further, and not just stay with, you know, your kind of pods and machines and bodies, but what is the next step to really make it to a reality even on this planet.
Yeah, I understand. Like, would be nice to explore more.
I just wanted to comment on, I really appreciate the scope of what you've tackled here. I mean, you really covered kind of every element, and I really appreciate the micro details of everything. I really like the vehicle designs as well. I think what would be interesting is if the only thing preserved from the human is the head, which is essentially the brain and some of the sensory organs, it'd be interesting to explore, you know, you have the opportunity now to completely redefine what the human body is and how it could potentially adapt to new environments and things like that. And I think that could be something really interesting to explore here. But overall, this is incredible work. So you did a great job.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Laura. It has been a great experience working with you, and you always had a very logical approach towards your investigation, and here your results clearly shows that you were very true to your concepts and designs. So I'm really happy to see your final results.
Thank you, Anna.
Okay, should we let's move on to the next team? We have Kate and Oscar presenting Antonov.
Hello.
Hello. I'm Kate, and I'm architect from Russia.
My name is Oscar. I have a background in product design from Switzerland.
And we're presenting the Antonov project. During the master's program, we learned various design tools that gives us flexibility to build up the relevant workflows for each chapter. We started first chapter using mostly tools for polygonal modeling, and from the start took advantage of procedural texturing. Following on, we implemented more computational design tools, switching to non-destructive iterative workflows so that we can test more ideas and make the most of our tools. With all gained skills, we were able to design the world of Antonov.
Let us welcome you all into our flourishing world. Our story is happening in the not-so-distant future on the very same Earth as you are on right now. In the search for an alternative energy source, we made a discovery. A new genus of plants, now known as symbiotes, that grow directly in connection with the human body. Symbiotes attach and grow from humans once we pass on, enabling incredible structures to be built. This technological breakthrough ushered in an era of wonderful coexistence between us and the symbiotes.
Maybe it's time for us to present ourselves. We are the bioengineers, or as we're often called, the rooters, because we work within the root systems. Our primary research revolves around the Antonov project, where we conduct experiments on the root system of the symbiotes. The genetic coupling with the plants can be unstable, so we monitor it constantly. A blooming stage with flowers is a sign of a stable mutation. Moreover, the symbiote adapts to its environment, shifting with the seasons. Also, as the symbiote decreases its energy output through the frost stage, we have designed a mechanical support frame that monitors the symbiote's health and maintains it.
This technology, what we call the symbiotic method, has been applied at all levels. Let us now familiarize you with our latest achievements. First comes the Gen 8 prosthesis. At its core, the body is supported by the root system, with a bioengineered lymphatic system and a prosthetic respiratory system. Layers of vegetation have also started to coat the surface of the root system, a good sign that it's stable. To ensure biocompatibility, they've developed lymphatic skull implants which plug directly into the cervical lymph nodes.
In winter, the whole prosthesis gets more fragile. The lymphatic and respiratory systems start playing a leading role. In the frost stage, lymph inflates, generally getting more and more prominent, as well as lungs extension. By means of these bionic implants, Gen 8 can breathe even in the harshest temperatures. Through breakthrough in bioimplants and careful monitoring, we have managed to implement various systems to make the prosthesis a self-sustaining unit. Advancements like the respiratory control helmet, as well as our bionic lungs and lung extensions, have granted the ultimate adaptation and autonomy to our prosthesis.
Once we've stabilized the symbiotic with the simplifies, we started developing our habitat model. We experimented with multiple different ways of merging mechanical structures with living organisms. The initial research led us to 2 units. Firstly, the L units, spaces designed for living laboratories. The unit is built as a concrete shell, formed in conjunction with the symbiotic roots. Then there comes a mechanical framework. It holds all the critical systems necessary for, and monitors the symbiote's health. Under this, there's a system of roots and vegetation. This organism keeps evolving and adapting to the environment around it. Finally, there are laboratories where we can research on the genome of the symbiotes.
Next, we have what we call the E-core. Firstly, it's made up of a hardware layer that assists harnessing the energy created by the symbiotes. Secondly, energy nodes. The energy accumulates there and can be used as an emergency power source. Next, grab symbiotes, the core of the power source. These roots are active and producing energy, which afterwards is transported to living units. Finally, the transmutation alveoli. This is vessel for the symbiosis. Through symbiotic link, rooters can also interact with adaptable facade. With the feedback from the environment, the facade can be altered, so that letting the air and light through the shell.
Our living spaces are set inside the simplified roots, with numerous passages that vector our ways to the laboratories and the glass nodes. Roots and vegetation run throughout and enable the growth of the units. This layer wraps around the mechanical framework that monitors the symbiote's health. This is where we rooters spend most of our time, either inside our labs where we have access to all the tools we need, or in our common spaces where we lounge and relax, both of which accommodate the needs of our photosynthesizing bodies.
We kept building the symbiotic community further, seeking to design a sustainable biome that would integrate in a given environment. After in-depth analysis of the terrain in our labs, we synthesized a catalog of compatible parts that would aggregate to a viable structure for the biome. There are certain rules we set to grow the symbiotic lagoon. Some rules were commonly applied to produce living units through mostly horizontal distribution. Other rules created a mechanical frame that supports the root structure. And yet another set of rules led the structure to aggregate in vertical direction.
We ran numerous experiments with selected parts, resulting in the following build-up sequence. Once a site has been defined, the first symbiotes are planted. With the following supporting layers, then vertical and horizontal aggregation is provided, resulting in a fully grown binding, revitalizing it through the symbiotes technology we possess. This is a top view of the symbiotic lagoon, featuring some key public spaces. Firstly, at the south, there's a port. At the northwest, there's a system of docks for aqua farming. In the center, there's a connecting bridge that functions as a public square.
This is a view over the connecting bridge. You can see a number of us launching and taking the sunbath, an important activity for our photosynthesizing bodies. The same is true for our towers, which are hard at work gathering sunlight and creating energy for the entire of the community. Up close, you can see the port. When the water level is low, like today, the overgrown symbiophyte roots are coming out of the water.
Our associated networks span the entire community, moving through and between clusters. The Xylem rail network is separated into 2, primary high-speed payload network and a secondary low-speed light payload one. The flow network exists within the clusters, allowing for pedestrian and private vehicle mobility. Stations have been designed to link the private and public networks, with smaller stations within each cluster that are private vehicles and a larger station that transports beyond the community.
As a result of our piece of research into route atypical meristems or RAM cells, we created two systems of vehicle. Firstly, the private vehicle, the RAM exploration crawler. The vehicle is built and powered using our Civetti technology. It is designed to allow the movement inside the community, as well as all-terrain exploration beyond it. The crawler moves in a minimalistic fashion, just like a quadruped would. The vehicle is constructed through growing a Civetti into the quadruped shape. The cockpit made out of hardened glass allows for full surround visibility. While letting in light for photosynthesis, it is powered through fuel tanks, which store the accumulated photosynthetic energy generated by the living Civetti. The limbs of the Civetti using universal joints to enhance their mobility, as well as hydraulic to provide the powered movement to the framework. Here is the view from the interior of the crawler. The pilot is connected through a symbiotic link to the control panel.
Next, we designed a long-distance, high-speed ram train, a vehicle also powered by Civetti technology. Boarding happens from the cantilever station platforms, simultaneously in all wagons. The ram train has an aerodynamic shape, allowing it to move swiftly through and along its tracks, both on water and land. Here you can see the animation. Let us now go through the layers that form the ram train. Firstly, there are upper roofs that hold the wagon's outer shell. Next, there's the shell, built at a semi-fat plant in glazing. Here you can see the interior diagram, which shows the occupancy of the vehicle, fitting 10 passengers per wagon. Under this, there is a lower roof layer. This serves as rails. Lastly, we have a layer showing the branches for monitoring the environment around the vehicle. Public vehicle interior is spacious enough for comfortable traveling, with more than half of the shell area being see-through. Passengers can enjoy beautiful scenery. The main station is at the edge of the community, with the boarding in progress.
The largest scale on which we have tested the Civetti technology is that of a sustainable urbanization, based on attempts to revitalize deserted territories. Here you can see a diagram with our master plan's layers. The transit network is distributed in 3 levels. The hierarchy includes a high-speed network, an inter-district vehicle network, as well as a local mixed-use one, serving each district. Districts mimic a cellular structure, with internal networks connecting clusters of neighborhoods on top. This is a better view of high-speed network that provides communication among districts. There are 2 types of district cells. Young, more dispersed ones, they are still forming with less defined structures and borders, while the full-grown cells are self-reliant, with established network and deployed living clusters. Older cells also meet local extension network that monitors and adjusts surrounding terrain.
Next, we have our resource monitoring and public zones. Where the districts once were, simplified woods have grown in their place. These now serve as public recreational spaces, which everyone can enjoy. We perform active monitoring on some zones, destined to become woods soon. At the same time, we keep a close eye on the deserted areas, slowly revitalizing them. The shoreline is equipped with water extraction and monitoring machinery that have actually provided to the Civetti inland. This map shows us all these zones layer atop each other.
Within the districts, amalgamations are clustered and linked. These are abstracted into icons on the map. Neighborhoods are aggregated along a central branch network of each district cell as a growing topology. On the map, you can see all those elements coming together, centered around the symbiotic roots, where the original districts once existed, with the high-speed and local networks coursing through it. As you can see, our ecosystem is extremely dynamic. It's constantly changing, with some territories flourishing, while others, unfortunately, in crisis, suffering from unstable mutations.
Welcome into our flourishing world. Our latest scientific breakthroughs in bioengineering have ushered in an era of wonderful coexistence between us and the plants now known to us as symbiophytes. Genetic coupling with these plants, the symbiophytes, have caused us to positively mutate and enabled us to reshape our environment and now provide us with the means necessary for the survival of our society. While the Central Territories are under constant supervision, showing great prosperity and positive development, those of distant lands can happen to suffer from unstable genetic mutation. We are the bioengineers, or as we are often called, the rooters, because we work within the root systems of our cities. Our task is to understand the genetic coupling between us and the symbiophytes. We also conduct experiments to try and improve or modify the symbiophytes. Lately, we've started to notice more anomalies in the overworld, mutations, signs that the whole structure is shifting, putting everything at risk of collapsing. The genetic link is deteriorating faster than we expected. There is still so many loose threads we cannot weave together. If you're listening to this audio log, then you may already know our fate. I hope we made it out alive.
Thank you, guys. You made it out. Thank you. Definitely one of the most captivating storylines. Really unexpected final, like we're really looking into on the season 2 as we're getting from the comments. Super excited for you guys to be coming to this end of this journey. It was really amazing working with you. Obviously, like you were one of the teams that like had such a cohesive storyline from the beginning, even from the mid-journey exploration. We can even tell it apart from actually 3D design and computational design, you know, like assets that you've created yourselves. So that's really something that struck us even from the first chapters. You guys were really brave and fearless throughout your investigations, not only throughout the thought process and just imagining this world and opening up your minds towards this, but also like going into unexpected and uncharted territories with a lot of this software that you learned. Again, like the background of most of the students is not actually in computational design, so it's very impressive that within these 9 months what you guys like really like achieved, you know, like throughout this process. And although again, like it's as I love to say, the ultimate cohesive storyline, there were so many unexpected moments into the designs that you know, like they were really unique, like to what you guys were creating. So for me, really congratulations. Super proud of your growth, and really a pleasure to be working with you guys through this year.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
What I really like about your project, and I love also the frost elements in the outfits, but you guys are combining like the natural, like a lot of natural elements, and then also a lot of like sci-fi elements. And the sci-fi elements tend, like how we design them, they tend to be a little bit more distant, sort of. And the natural elements are very intimate and comfortable almost, you know. So it creates a really interesting contrast, and especially your vehicle is one of the things that you really see that. So that's a really interesting thing, that sort of push and pull, and that notion of these contrasts that are really interesting in your work. Great presentation.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, first off, guys, like really well done, amazing presentation, very captivating storyline in the end as well. I think what I always enjoyed about your project is this idea of seasonality. It kind of created a framework for you guys where you kind of really could explore an interesting change in mode or interesting change in behavior within your subjects, and I think that like kind of provided also a lot of clarity in how you structure the rest of your projects as well. This kind of seasonality also is like a very good technique in order to kind of create or present difference, and how you can actually switch between different utilities of your prototype, which I thought was very clever. Also in kind of marrying very different, let's say, not aesthetics necessarily, but like very, very different natures in a way, is also like something that's very apparent in your project. And I think one of the most successful images, let's say, is actually when we get into the interiors. Actually, one of these I feel is like very like evocative. I feel like you really feel like you're there. So for me, that's like a very, yeah, this one I think is one of my favorites. It's a very interesting cross between things. Like one thing that I would maybe have as a comment is that I do feel that in certain places I could tell that obviously you were working with something that where you want to like move away from the necessarily the human form, like through this idea of mutation, idea of like change. But even in one of the parts of the clip, you have this scene where the subject is observing something through the microscope, and like the face is really legible in the sense that like you don't really have like discernible eyes. So I think like it would have been interesting to kind of maybe push, let's say, not the design, but like the thinking behind like how their bodies look like and why they look like the way they do right now, even a little bit further. So like even some of those actions that are very noticeable for us, you know, for like humans as we are right now, like they come from the fact that, you know, our, you know, visual apparatus or our eyes works in a certain way. But, you know, in this subject, in this kind of iteration of evolution, like you might find other ways in which you interface with like microscopic organisms or observe them. So I think like that could have also pushed it even further. But yeah, in general, like really, really engaging presentation, and like you successfully created, I think, like a very immersive world. Like you really feel like you're there, which I think is a great testament to the success of the project. Thanks for the amazing presentation.
Thank you. Thanks for your comments.
Those are my favorite part right there. I think the vehicle stations and the vehicles again are like really, really interesting and really well done. I think my favorite part is the confirmation of success with the blooming. I think that's a really interesting part where you've got this kind of feedback mechanism where you know that you've got something that's stable. The question I have is what was the initial threat that we were solving for with this one? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, actually, our thought behind it was like the search for an alternative energy, which we can generate like with photosynthesis through symbiosis between human genome and plant genome.
Okay, great, thanks. I had a feeling that you covered that in the beginning and I probably just didn't catch it. So thanks for that. But I think, yeah, this is really, really interesting work. I love the concept of this symbiosis between plant life and animal life. It's always really interesting. The other thing I was curious about is the kind of the vehicle systems. What is the benefit for having the plant life part of them and having the rail system as plants? And is it, again, just kind of part of that energy efficiency where you're not using man-made materials and things like that?
Yeah, so that was kind of our thought process, that the main benefit is that these plants can provide energy that is sort of renewable and sustainable to this new community, and that will kind of, you know, so the vehicles are based around that whole technology as well.
Got it. Yeah, it's beautiful work though. Good job.
Thank you.
Maybe I say something again. I raise my hand. I mean, it looks beautiful, but I have a few questions, which you discussed about mutation. What would be very interesting to see, again, this is just maybe for further research and work, is that what are the mutated ones that couldn't survive? Because those are the stepping stones for the ones that survive. That has been around in nature for millions of years, and we are the product of all the mutations out there, and we will be the stepping stone for the next gen. So it will be interesting to see that in this progression of coming up to a self-sustainable society with this fusion of plant genome and human genome, what went wrong in order to get to this phase. I think this could be a very interesting chapter, maybe season 2. Prequel, that could be the prequel, you know, this is like a trendy right now, coming up with prequels. And the other thing that
I guess it's going back to the progress board and taking all the failed ideas and making those into presentations.
I think the failed ideas are as important as the successful ones. There's absolutely no difference in my opinion. The other thing that I want to touch on is the morphological exploration you did in the settlement. And maybe the reason in which you started to go tall could be further investigated, because one of the reasons that you see the forest from the top, the trees go high because they want to reach the sunlight. And if you look at the formations from the top, you see a very interesting cellular Voronoi arrangement of them. But when you're actually placed within a context that it's not a lot of obstacles around you in order to receive sunlight, maybe this morphology could be actually explored more laterally than vertically. This is also something that then, if you're thinking and talking about fusing the plant genome to the human genome, one of the important codes in the plant genome is to reach into the sunlight. So this could actually be more informative in your morphological exploration. But again, like guys, it looks amazing. Congrats.
Thank you.
Thank you for the ideas.
I don't have much to add, but to congratulate you. It's a very unique project, amazing one. I really like the video. It's very well done and basically tells everything about the project. So congratulations also for that. And maybe one suggestion for you and for everyone else who has narration in the video. It's very nice to add subtitles, so everyone watching outside of DesignMorphine community or the presentation now. So it would be very nice for them to understand even better. So congratulations, guys! Amazing.
Thank you.
Hi guys. I wanted to congratulate you also. Amazing video. For some reason, I didn't want it to be end. I'm pretty sure everyone felt the same way that I did. So definitely, have another one. Amazing approach. Amazing. Like, this is the first time I'm seeing this project from the beginning. So in my opinion, you took something that is already existed and you caught a core concept and you developed it and embedded into your system. So in my opinion, you executed really nicely. You know, that duality between something really organic and mechanical is just, in my opinion, result was very nice. And like your insistency on like being very systematic and very logical at every stage, I think it's something that needs to be appreciated. And like, well done. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ina.
Okay, do you have any other comments?
Yeah, I want to congratulate you guys. I want to congratulate you guys because you have been always had the eye for details. Just a minute. Okay, so you had the eye for details and you took the role of bioscientist like really well, and you pushed it to a Nat Geo level now. And we can clearly see from your visuals, you have been like very creative with the concept and design. As Zineb said, like there was an elegant merge of your details of discretization with the organic plant roots, which is very unique in its way with the concept and very true to the concept. So yeah, congratulations. It was really nice working with you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. And I will introduce the next thing, which is going to be Luca.
Yep.
On to the next team. We have Kong and Ryan presenting contradictory symbiosis.
Greeting you all. I'm Gong from Thailand. I've studied architecture.
And I'm Ryan. I'm from Hong Kong. I'm moving to Toronto soon. I've studied films before and also media art.
We are delighted to share our exploration in the world of computational design over the past 10 months. As we are shifting toward the edge of digital disruption, many technologies are capable of revolutionizing the world, especially the AI technologies. These tools enable endless possibilities to rethink our reality. We, as a designer, are responsible for understanding, experimenting, and mastering modern computational design tools.
Contradictory symbiosis is this design manifesto that challenges the twisted relationship between humans and cyborgs, the post-humans in the upcoming dystopian future. From crafting a narrative in Midjourney to polymodeling in Maya and procedural modeling in Houdini, optimization and simulation in Grasshopper to visualization in Arnold and Unreal Engine. By implementing these design pipelines into our workflow, we are now trained to think and execute beyond conventional design methods and unfold a high resolution of our reality.
This project isn't just a showcase of a futuristic world building, but it is a demonstration of a non-destructive design workflow in the upcoming era. Now we would like to welcome you all to join our world of contradictory symbiosis.
This is a world of post-apocalyptic world with insufficient resources and human extinction crisis. The Cyborg Republic invites humans to transcend into cyborgs. However, to embrace the total rationality of cyborgs, humans need to eliminate their emotions. In order to persuade humans into becoming emotionless, the Republic spreads propaganda in human society, brainwashing those from the lower class into believing that they can experience eternal happiness by becoming a cyborg. In reality, their brains and bodies are constantly stimulated by the prosthesis. The chemicals produced by the brains will be collected for agricultural use. Their emotional capabilities are abused to the point that they can no longer produce any more chemical substances in their brains. They are now cyborgs working as labor forces to restore nature until their organic body decay. The Republic produces and exports resources back to the human society, just enough to keep them alive, but not enough for them to overpopulate. As long as there are humans who live miserable lives of poverty and hunger, there will be new volunteers to join the Cyborg Republic and keep the system running. This is an ironic narrative suggesting that a sustainable and peaceful ecosystem could only be done by eliminating the presence of humans from humans themselves.
Famine, disease, pollution, technological conflicts, different global issues have resulted in years of political tension on the planet until a nuclear war finally broke out. Thousands of cities were turned into dust. Millions of lives were sacrificed. This catastrophe caused a massive environmental impact on our lives. Nuclear radiation turned several regions into uninhabitable areas. Most of the remaining societies were forced to evacuate away from the source of radiation. Thousands of human colonies were built on top of the ruins near the relatively cleaner water sources. Due to the extreme environmental conditions, humans can hardly unite as one strong nation, but instead are weakened and divided into smaller collectives. Abusive hierarchy of social classes still exists in this crowded system. The stronger side occupy the coastline and push the weaker side to live in a more toxic area.
This vicious cycle continues for decades until a group of radical innovators initiated an operation to repair nature and ensure the continuation of mankind along with the remaining species. Terra metempsychosis is an environmental surgical operation which implants terrestrial-scale prostheses on contaminated landscapes. The vestiges, both organic and inorganic, found within the ruins of the abandoned human territories are repurposed as ingredients for synthetic natural regeneration. In order to bring eternal balance to the system, the synergy between the living and the non-living is required in a comparable amount. Starting at the microscopic level of the Republic, the mechanical system and the organic system of the prosthesis of every entity. Newcomers will be equipped with their first set of prostheses and will start a new life as the bearer. The bearer can use the happiness to purchase more prostheses to achieve even more pleasure in this delusional fantasy, up until the point that they are fully equipped and eventually transform into the next stage known by the name of Felicita. In this stage, they will now be able to reach their eternal happiness for several weeks before they run out of emotions and fully transform into a pure cyborg titled by the name Acesso. Acesso is a transcendent form of humans where it surpasses human physicality and intelligence, but more importantly, they are able to eliminate the ultimate restraints of human beings, their emotions.
In macroscopic level, this ideal concept of synergy between diverse elements is best reflected through the grammar of amalgamation, the recipe which enables new form of juxtaposed urbanization, where microsystems may vary in form and function, but efficiently work together in a form of symbiosis relationship. The amalgamation kits were categorized into 5 different sets of components. Every single unit shares a similar aggregation principle, where they can be connected through the connector and receptor nodes. The first set of components are the primary structures that are plugged into land and water. They extract and distribute raw resources from ground level to other units. The polluted resources are then purified at the synthetic landscape level, laying a concrete foundation for the emergence of the Cyborg Republic, the new empire where humans can volunteer to enter any time and live happily and peacefully together within an equitable ecosystem.
Cyborgs coexist in different areas, each contributing differently to the system. During the stage of the barrel, they will be restricted within euphoria, the corpuscles of the system which functions as a living cell that collects infinite amounts of emotions from the inhabitants, processes them in the form of resources, and feeds them back to both the amalgamation and the human society. It consists of several important spaces, such as the pleasure dome, an enclosed psychedelic-built environment specifically designed to maintain the aesthetic condition of the user, as well as the charging station, where they head down and recharge their batteries, but more importantly, to feed their vigorous emotions to the system. as well as the psychotropic farm that converts these emotions into energy and agricultural resources, all to collect, transfer, and store the emotions from Libero. After several months inside euphoria, Libero would then mutate to the second stage, Felicita.
They are now able to access the metamorphosis units, the facilities outside of euphoria. These outdoor spaces, such as parks, plazas, bathhouses, and water parks, spread across the towers and provide a higher and wider range of pressure in order to drain their last bits of emotions. Felicita can reach their desired destination using the orphanims, a compact vehicle that also acts as the charger, specifically designed to work cohesively with their processes. By connecting the ports on their spine, Felicita now gains the mobility to travel within a single tower through an internal private network. After several months in this fantasy realm, the cyborgs will finally transcend into a perfect rational beings, the emotionless entities, a shadow.
During this ultimate stage, they will be working as labor force, operating and maintaining the system up until the point their organic body reaches death. The mechanical prostheses will be recycled and redistributed to new volunteers. On the contrary, their organic body will be decomposed as fertilizers, further expanding the colony of the Cyborg Republic. The cyborgs are commuting and exchanging resources through the logistic infrastructure that connects numerous fundamental units within the Republic in the most optimized paths. Ashieso can travel freely across this vast landscape using a high-speed portable vehicle called the Myrmidus. This vehicle has an ability to transform between two operation modes, bike mode and crawler mode. Each mode is designed for a different type of terrain. The motion of Myrmidus is controlled directly through the neural linkage from the cyborg. Ashieso can interchange freely between the external and internal private networks, allowing them to access internal facilities down below through the elevating platform. Euphorus is the public vehicle that operates across the entire amalgamation. It allows direct connection between every tower, and more importantly, they are frequently loaded with tons of resources and deployed towards the human colonies through a public transit network, which bridges the different territories of humans and cyborgs, providing sufficient support and resources to maintain the survival of mankind.
Nevertheless, the ultimate ideology of sustainability could be achieved easily without a glimpse of unfairness. It is crucial for the cyborgs to nourish the noblemen through the feeding of resources, providing them with privilege so that classism is retained within human society. Those suffering from poverty are raised under exposure to Cyborg Republic's propagandas. They depict the cyborgs as their savior, and their will to survive is to get enlisted in the monthly recruitment posted in the recruitment ground near the borderlines. They believe joining the Republic is the only way to escape from their miserable life. Without knowing the bright future promised to them, it's merely a delusional fantasy that is in no way better than what they have already been experiencing in human society. As long as the exchange between the cyborgs and humans still remains, the cyborgs can keep on expanding their colonies over the unusable land. The amalgamation units can freely expand along a wide range of terrains due to extremely flexible ground logic. This amalgamation system allows the cyborgs to formulate countless variations of code from the scale of a neighborhood to the scale of a colony. Humans will keep on being weakened and fragmented as the transit networks slowly penetrate their territory. In contrast, the Cyborg Republic will be fortified as they keep on expanding their colonies and networks. The complex composition of networks and amalgamations acts as frontiers, preventing any form of conflict and military invasion.
Several important facilities, such as the Natural Genetic Archives and the Central System, are located near the Radiation Center, where a network is well oriented and geographically protected by the terrain. The genetic archives are the Noah's Ark of the New World, safeguarding genetic information of all the remaining species, aiming to preserve the biodiversity of this dying planet. The Central System is the core of the Cyborg Republic, the library of the cyborg's memories and experiences. The accumulation of historical records and intelligence all are preserved and are to be passed on to future generations.
Humans, driven by their chaotic nature, will keep on failing to unite as one and are destined to be conquered by the implementation of the Neo-Anthropocene. This is the manifestation of a geopolitical boundary, strategically designed to control a predictable exchange of resources between two completely opposite governance systems.
This indestructible scheme of the Neo-Anthropocene is the ideal sustainable system for the New World. We, the Republic, fabricated the egalitarian utopia that humans have always dreamt of. Humans are ensured their survival and continuation thanks to our plentiful resources. In consequence, they will serve as our constant supply of cybernetic organisms, keeping the system running. These two complex systems of contradicting fundamentals complementing each other, greatly echo the ideology of contradictory symbiosis which, we, the Republic, strongly believes in. Do you want to be happy? Do you want to just give up everything and start a new life? Join us at the Cyborg Republic, and you can experience euphoria with us. Join us, you can forget all your worries. Join us, you can end all your sufferings. Join us, you deserve to be happy at the Cyborg Republic. We have everything for you men to enjoy. You can get yourself clean, you can have a good meal. You can do whatever you feel. At the Cyborg Republic, we have a self-sustaining system providing adequate resources, so you can lay back and enjoy your best lives. Join us today at the recruitment grounds, and you'll be over the moon in no time. Limited tickets available on a first-come first-served basis, so act fast. Join the Cyborg Republic now. Join us, there's no need to feel down. Join us, there's no need to be unhappy. Join us, you deserve to live your dream. Join us, 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 join us. Join us now. Join the Cyborg Republic now. Join us, you deserve to live your dream. Join us.
This is so awesome. Holy shit.
Thank you so
I'm
much.
joining, guys. Amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
For the next season, I'm expecting to see how this is going to backfire.
Absolutely.
Ryan and Kongpop, can you guys share us your video as well if it's on Vimeo or something?
I've just put it in chat. You can see it there.
Ah, perfect. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah. Welcome. I'm glad you liked it.
Wow, guys, you killed it once more. Not only you were excellent on every level, and such a pleasure to work with, and so proud of you guys for learning so much during this year, but you really created a catchphrase that I don't think is going anywhere. We're already like using join us every 5 minutes now.
We can use this as a advertisement for the next year's program.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, great job, guys. Great teamwork, very professionally presented. You did an awesome job in the second chapter, and I can see you continued even better on the next ones. So the end result is really amazing. I think you can sell this as a movie or an advertisement, I guess.
Thank you very much, Frederick.
Yes, thank you.
And thank you for your teachings. Absolutely.
Oh, it was a pleasure working with you.
I'll just jump very briefly here before taking off. I just want to congratulate you guys. I think you guys were always having fun. Like I think the video is so much fun. Like the whole presentation is fantastic. And I think like just let's keep in mind that you have like amazing communication skills. I think the way you're presenting, the visuals, the video itself, I think like you should really push and try to get the most out of that when thinking about the next steps, or if you want to take this thesis further. I think just keep doing like just like that. Like the communication becomes super important, and then you have like super great skills as well when it comes to representing visually what these walls might be like. It is not an easy thing because it's it's quite in the fiction side. So I could imagine like when it comes down to working on a more conventional project or working like a metaverse or something, like you could develop extraordinary things. So congratulations,
Thank you,
both of you. Yeah. Cheers,
thank
guys.
you. Have a nice flight.
Yeah, from my side, you guys are like great storytellers, very engaging story. I loved that you used emotions in a very novel way. The colors are spot on, and the video was just amazing. That was super great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, hi guys, really enjoyed it. I remember this from the last time, and it's really fantastic that you managed to develop it even further, and it's really nice. I have one question that is really stuck in my mind. So the cyborg is eating the organic parts, right? But the mind of the human stays, or this dissolves too? So are you uploaded, is your mind uploaded to the cyborg, or when the organic part within your body dissolves, you loses your mind and the cyborg is just its own entity?
Actually, our concept is that we have like two systems within the prosthesis, the mechanical system and the organic system. So what the organic system does is that it tries to merge with the human body and also invades into like the internal of the brains and try to stimulate the brain. And we kind of have this hypothesis that human emotions and the chemicals that we produce in our brains can actually be drained after like extreme stimulations. So that by making their brain so numb to these like stimulations that they cannot produce any more chemical substances, that means they have lost their emotions, and that's when they become like the rational being, the cyborg that works as labor force until they die.
But they don't have feelings, but they are still their own person, right? The personality stays, but it just evolves to be without feelings.
That is a great debate there. Like if you have no more.
I
mean,
was watching the new episode of Black Mirror recently, and like your episode would really fit into that, and it just really crossed my mind, like what really happened to the person. Anyway, it's a fantastic project. You can make it to an episode of Black Mirror. I love the car that changes from the motorcycle to having these tiny legs. It's my favorite one, but in general it's really, really beautiful work. Congratulations, and I'm looking forward to see what you're gonna bring next.
Thank you. Thank you for kind words.
There is no doubt of the visually style quality renderings. All the visuals are quite amazing, but I want to especially acknowledge that you work with emotions. It's not something easy, and you need to be brave, really brave actually, to put it in the main focus of all the project, especially on this post-apocalyptic futuristic system, and that you don't show just this is the project, this is how it's going to be, is you show a evolutionary process that slowly builds into a more complex and integrated system. That means like right now you left so many doors open that is at the same time difficult. Is this utopian or dystopian simultaneously? What is the view of the future is still I'm trying to figure out. But it's interesting how from a human-based society, you transform into an integrative colony, that humans disappear and basically there are no person and unities. Basically, you have one entity, that community, you milk the brain, basically, and extract all the features. If I could say something that maybe you could have think a little bit more is, as you can extract the emotions and you can extract the personality of these cyborg humanoids, why you use a so simplistic approach of mobility, like a super nice and futuristic like motorbike? It could be maybe that you can also extract this conscience, and what you move is actually the conscience from this cyborg and not the physical elements of the cyborg. So basically this, you can actually cross link not the brains and not only extract the progesterone and other things that we produce as a human. It's nice. And one simple question that I would love to ask is, like, as you're opening the discussion of transcendence here, like that this entity is supposed to die at some point, or this humanoid lives endlessly, and how this influences the society?
So they will die eventually once like they overwork themselves and their organic body decay. But that is why the Cyber Republic needs to like make a perfect balance between like how many cyborgs and how many humans are there in our world, so that they are basically like farming humans, like in like we do animal husbandry to like feed ourselves, but the cyborgs do like human husbandry to maintain the system and keep the system running. So they feed resources back to the human society to let the humans like continue but not overpopulate. And then they can recruit some of those who are like living miserable lives and have them join us. And then and yeah, and then that's how they basically farm humans and make humans into becoming one of them and keep the cycle running. So yeah, back to like, is this a dystopia or utopia? Maybe in God's view, or in like Kong and I, the creator of the project, we definitely think it's dystopia, but in the human's eye, it could be utopia, because in the human's eye, they are just blinded. They think that the cyborgs are just like working for them and sometimes giving them resources. And if you feel bad, you can just join them and enjoy the rest of your lives. Yeah, it could be utopia for them. Who knows?
That depends on the point of view, no?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, amazing, guys. Congrats.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I would also like to add one thing as a continuation for this conversation, because we can recognize a lot of really outstanding mature quality of like the posture of the human and lighting, and also how like all the camera work has been positioned. So maybe for your next chapter, it would be interesting to see how the transformation of the human also start morphing the environment. Like you start showing it here, like some units kind of aggregate together and the way how it's being connected. But I would imagine it's kind of a constantly feedback loop for the coexisting of the environment. Maybe your structures start morphing together with your body, and it's kind of turning into from a more human habitat units into something more mechanical. Maybe it's kind of become something like a vertical factory. So there has a lot of potential, and it's really fantastic to see how the video, and you have very outstanding visual from the very beginning.
Thank you. Thank you for your advices and feedbacks. Thank you.
I just wanted to say that this is incredible work. I just have been watching the show about Chernobyl, and I see a lot of parallels between that, and I really, really appreciate how you guys focused a lot on the human element, because that will always be a part of these things, and focusing on the or adding the element of propaganda too, I think is really powerful to the story. And it's like this perfect hybrid of Chernobyl meets Matrix. The one thing that I was curious about is this one of the, is it utopian and dystopian, because at this point humanity is kind of farming humans in order to keep the human species alive for the long run. So it's kind of like a temporary sacrifice for the greater good of everybody else. Am I understanding that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, colors, materials, everything is super spot on. I love that it's very immersive and feels very real.
Thank you very much.
So much.
I'm really glad.
Yeah, this project is very much an emotional roller coaster, and I think it's difficult to do that sometimes. Often when you when you're, particularly with architecture or architectural design, if you start to tap into emotions, it's tricky to do that, and also it's difficult to know where you stand and how to kind of access the work, as opposed to like product design where that's what you want to do. So it's a really interesting approach, and definitely commendable to be able to get there. 100% dystopian for me, but also it's fun and really compelling, and that's where it's very difficult to know where I sit, and that's, I think, a good thing, right? It's really kind of provocative in that way. For me, I really love your system diagrams, because it really allows me to like understand your thinking, and that's both at the high level, but also with your amalgamation kits and how those come to life. I think because you've been able to take, this exactly, because you're able to take this to such a level, for me, I think there are a couple of things that would be really interesting to see. You have the opportunity to now really explore how your kind of infrastructural network might tie in a little bit more strongly to your dwelling units and all of that, and how those really kind of work together, and what it's like to then live here, right? Like, what is that experience? And you've gotten to the point where the world is completely designed and understood, and you've communicated it really well. And now I want to kind of get into the details. And so I think, that's a great place to be, because you've built that for yourselves. I want to know what the dwelling units are like. Like, what is it like to live here, right? Because now you've brought me in emotionally. So now I want to imagine, as a human, a new human, what is it actually like to live here? And you've developed that opportunity yourselves, which is a great thing. And the new Vitruvian Man is fantastic. Great work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, really great work, guys. I mean, I think I agree with everything that's already been said. I don't think there has been like a lot of praise, and it was well deserved. I think like what I would ask, like, as a question, I mean, you haven't introduced this idea of balance into the mix, so like the balance between the number of humans and this kind of contradictory symbiotic organisms that come or stem from them within their own system. I suppose like my question would be, if that balance were to be upset in either direction, what do you think like the outcomes would be for this kind of new society that you've created? Is there any possibility there for you to further explore your narrative, or how that would kind of guide how you think about the whole system? Do you think the system would break? Would it somehow self-correct, or how do you see the future of it?
Actually, like from my side, I see this as like the endless cycle, because like that's me like proposing this idea, we are like kind of like rejecting like the traditional like idea of sustainability, but like in this case we introduce like the total like concept of like this sustainability between like two species here. So like we truly see this as like the endless cycle that could happen forever. It's like, yeah, this is my answer here. How about you, Ryan? What's your thought here?
I can't agree more. I feel like this is basically the end of humanity, like in our world, not in real life, but yeah. Yeah, I feel like it is like a perfect system, and also like because it's basically the cyborgs are like being controlling like every information within the human society, and also like how the human societies are actually like being shattered and being split by the networks of the cyber republic. So I think that the humans are basically like contained without them knowing. So
basically you're engineering us out of existence.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say that, you know, the project is amazing, that the video is extraordinary, and this is like a project in which the narrative is just as compelling as the system you've created. And I love the idea of this kind of deceiving recruitment ground in which emotion is a resource. So I like that idea of like trying to engage sustainability with other types of resources, and then how that the body dematerialize to become a resource. And my question is like, so you have this engaging slogan, which is, do you want to be happy? But it seems like deceiving, because the end goal, it seems to be to become emotionless. So it looks like it's kind of like there's some sort of evilness or a you know, deceiveness in the plot, which I think is very provocative as a storytelling. So yeah, congratulations for that, because of this narrative. And my only comment would be to, I mean, this same level of development that you've achieved for the character should inform the rest of your project, which is already in a great point, but maybe that can inform the way it can be detailed further on. Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations in your meet.
Thanks.
Congratulations to all three of you, actually. You guys always make your project look so amazing, so easy, but we know the process behind has been really intense. You really give a lot of thoughts on your concepts, your ideas, your color palette, and the consistency from chapter 1 to the end. And the best part is you guys have the visuals, the diagrams, and the videos, and eye for camera, lights, and everything. You're a complete package.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Eva.
Okay, I think we should give.
Before we go into like a break, I just want to say that also the one sweet thing that like happened in your team is that you found like true friendship, which is really, really sweet also.
Yes.
Yes.
So we will see some continuation of the work in one form or another.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah. Thank you all. Thank you, Ryan.
Okay.
Thanks, Yang.
We should give them some time to absorb the awesomeness and take the break. Okay, see you guys in 10 minutes. We can go to the next project. We have Maria presenting her project Zaloria.
Hi everyone, my name is Maria. I'm an architect and I live in Cyprus. Today, Today I will present you my project, Xyloria. The project was made during master's program, and it is about symbiosis of two insectoid species who need to build their world anew on a destroyed planet with elevated gravity. Let's move to the concept part. The planet was inhabited by two real species, the X-Exiles and Y-Exiles. A catastrophic event occurred as they tried to escape a threatening meteorite. In a hasty attempt to flee, they initiated a hyperspace jump too close to their planet, resulting in serious consequences such as a hole in the planet and destabilized gravity. The X-Exiles the hyper-intelligence and delicate wings, while the Y-Exile proceeds strength and endurance. The X-Exiles feed on the sweet nectar of the flowers, supporting the mutations, while the Y-Exiles consume the plant roots for strength and endurance. After surviving the event, both species worked on the exile experiment on established and symbiotic relationship. Through the experiment's success, they restored life to their planet, built cities, improved traffic, and created a peaceful environment for living in symbiosis. Let's move to prestigious chapter. The X-Exile mutants have enhanced abilities to detect gravity fields and lift heavy weights to mutates in their blood. To establish a symbiotic relationship between X and Y mutants, we have created an external connection that allows them to exchange nectar and share sensory information. The connection is made through advanced processors, the wing veins, linking the neural activity. The Y-Exiles have been strengthened and equipped with adapters to facilitate the connection with X mutants. An interface on their back enables the smooth transfer of neural activity through multiple points of contact. Modified sensory and energy processors connected at the back of mutants, allowing them to merge their minds and bodies. This connection makes them stronger and more stabilized. The XY mutation represents the perfect fusion of both species, allowing for the reestablishment of their civilization. With high intelligence, endurance, and strength, these mutants are unstoppable. They possess improved eyelights, electronic magnetic vision, and the remarkable ability to fly for white mutants. Given their different needs, the mutants can choose to exist as a symbiotic being or attach only during necessary tasks and live as separate entities. To create livable spaces in elevated gravity conditions, we developed unique dueling pods inspired by Alarian flowers. These pods extended from the main body using synthesized biological compounds resembling flower petals. The Pleiadic corpuscle structure had different parts. The private corridor, the top clusters, are for flying X and XY mutants. The Y mutants have their cluster below, accessed through a queue in a service corridor. Essential items are delivered to the exiles' corpuscles through the service corridor. Structural veins surrounded the corpuscle, holding it together and allowing for further explanations. Landing pads are also connected to their veins. Public spaces include the concourse, control center, essential storage, and a social area. The public space is protected by a bubble for adapted safety. The top part of Pleiada has functional spaces, while the bottom part has stronger structure and closer proximity to Y mutants for monitoring. An emergency exit tube ensures safe evacuation if landing pads fail. The control center and the landing pads offer clear views. Sleeping capsules provide rest and recharge through nectar. The concourse with a central beacon communicates important information through light and electromagnetic waves. The control center furniture can be split apart for comfortable seating of X and Y mutants. Our design aimed to provide functional, secure, and comfortable living spaces for exiles. To recolonize Alaris, we face challenges with the unpredictable gravity fields in most areas. To overcome this, we developed a gravity regulating device using water from the lake. Our gravity regulator creates contour vortexes, purifies water, and provides optimal gravity conditions. Settlements are built around these regulator water channels. We have a hydroponic garden for food and flora, research unit, a theater, and a Skype port for inter-cluster travel. Our gravity regulators allow us to accommodate clusters of different sizes by creating a gravity gradient. Outer zones have lower gravity, allowing for larger clusters. Using the Fliadaker puzzle, we created a level 1 cluster, suspended by structural veins. This is the first exile colony on Alaris. The open theaters serve as orientation space and future entertainment venues. Ongoing research with increase of gardens yield supporting the thriving colony. Then we focused on developing transportation systems of the city. For private transportation, we used a procedural development approach to cater the unique needs of each exile. The private glider was designed as a single user vehicle that can accommodate all types of mutants. The Y mutant can utilize the glider to gather the data on the surface of Alaris. When combined with an X mutant, the vehicle gains additional functionality, as the mutant can directly detect electromagnetic waves, enabling extended travel. The energy model of the glider is designed to harvest energy directly from gravity waves while gliding, providing acceleration. In terms of public transportation, we prioritized efficiently in transporting exiles between clusters. Our solution involved utilizing train on light rails. The trains have energy reserves that generate power from magnetic waves while traveling. The front of the train features a glass orb serving as the main navigation space. The train can be controlled independently by 2 exiles, but also can connect to data stations within the clusters. The passenger section offers various seating options, including handling bars for the X mutants. The interior structure is made for a flexible material that can easily adjust the exile's seating posture. The public transport lines were designed to be isolated with each cluster, minimizing distribution. Various stations connect the public transport system to their clusters. Within the clusters, we developed nodes to connect the corpuscles employing shortest path algorithms. The interior of the cluster features a private corridor connecting the corpuscles to the public spaces. There are 3 levels. L1 connects to the corpuscles, L2 connects to the public areas, and L3 enables navigation within the public spaces. The docking station is directly linked to the train station, facilitating easily navigation for exiles. Train stations include 2 platforms for ensure convenient boarding. Let's move to cosmogony. In my network project, the cityscape is nested in a valley with a beautiful lake and flowing rivers. To address gravity challenges, a powerful gravity beacon has been developed, ensuring stability and control. The water network supports exiles' nutrition, utilizing rivers for nourishment and the well-being of the city. Residential and commercial areas are integrated around the lake and rivers, harmoniously coexisting with nature. Public spaces provide creation and entertainment, fostering a vibrant community. The infrastructure includes comprehensive networks connecting all areas, from the residential and commercial zones to green agricultural areas. Local and inter-district roads facilitate traveling, while the high-speed and highways encircles the city. The water supply network ensures a constant flow of resources. Here we can see the amalgamation catalog contains from the 3 aggregation combinations and 1 cluster example. The work in progress part where we can see how script creates the smaller and bigger city networks. The Xyloria networking project aims to collect the world of exiles with nature and technology. Layers of buildings and agri-industrial zones are destabilized within the gravity beacon's range, creating a convinced city system. The main idea of the project was to restore life and create a peaceful environment on the planet Alaris through the symbiotic collaboration of 2 rival species. They worked together to overcome the consequences of a catastrophic event, build cities, improve transportation, and establish a harmonious coexisting between nature and technology. Thank you. No? Share sound.
Thank you, Maria.
Thank
you so much. So I think that the video is really capturing the beauty of everything you've created through this world. I think it's really, really unique, like the whole story and how you're thinking about gravity and like the different pieces like of what you're creating. You're definitely being a powerhouse and utilizing a lot of Houdini in your practices. So you're ready to take on a lot of new challenges like after these masters for sure. So congratulations from me for all the hard work and really always the positive outlook on learning and bettering yourself and challenging yourself. You really like have done an amazing job. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Maria. Amazing project. Really well done. I agree with Pavlina that you were bettering yourselves during the whole academic year. Congratulations, and everything is really amazing. Nothing more to say. Me.
Thank you.
I have a question for you. If there was again like an opportunity for you to continue the project or to add some more, like more, basically like expand like some of the chapters or go more into like discovering more ways like to go about like the designs, what would be something that like you would think of going back and rethinking or adding to?
My favorite chapter was kinesis with the vehicles. So I think I would like to work on maybe other types of vehicles for fossils.
Yeah, thinking. I love exactly like the connections that you're creating between the styles and the vehicles and how they fit together. And I do feel that yes, there is a lot of opportunities like to create there. I feel that also like you do have this like wings that like are, you know, like in a way like attachable and detachable, and there might be also like different ways to create different kinds of wings, right? Like in different kinds of ways like to move around according to different conditions. So like with the body itself. So definitely very imaginative project that allows for a lot of speculations.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is quite incredible. Another piece of work. I love the depth of every piece. But if I were to sort of make a comment about something, would be at a very large scale when it's sort of the urban aggregation of the pods. And one thing that I really liked about your parts is that of the project is that it has a different components that seem like it could be reconfigured. And have different variations, different, you know, sort of using the same DNA, but have different configurations of the same thing. But then once you move to the urban scale, exactly that image right there, I wonder why, and maybe you've already explained it, but I wonder why it's so concentric. I mean, I wonder why the circle, why, I mean, if the components themselves are at the very sort of human scale, or, you know, the scale that we perceive are at a, you know, made out of components, then when we grow, can it have sort of a shape or a vision that is a little bit more, where the aggregation becomes a bit less familiar? I mean, as much as I love the depth of this image and I think it's incredible, I just feel like the design of the urban scale is a bit too familiar because of maybe the circular aggregation, maybe the concentric part. And I think at the urban scale, you lose a little bit of resolution in comparison to the sort of zoomed in version of everything, where it's very detailed. I think at the urban scale, you lose a little bit of that resolution. But I mean, of course, it's incredible work. And then this is sort of the next step, and you have to cover a lot of things. But I just wanted to kind of point that out.
The main idea of this part of project was to find a way how to connect corpuscles together in this not stabilized gravity. So that's why we used gravity beacons to hold all this structure together. And this is the reason of this shape and the scale of the corpuscles, is that they are holding together only with the gravity beacon.
Okay. Great.
Hi, Maria. Great work. I think that I love that amalgamation top view. I think it's really beautiful. There's really a lot of beautiful shapes in here too. The only feedback I would have is sometimes I got lost with the scale of some things. I would expect that something felt like it was the size of what one of the beings would be, and then I was surprised to see that it was the life form was very small relative to the scale of something. So maybe adding a little bit of more detail to some of those larger structures to convey that it is a larger scale object, I think would be helpful. But like everything, it's really, really beautiful, all of the stuff. And oh, sorry, one other thing that I think could help is with the lighting of some of the renders with the interior shots. They seem really dark. And I know that it's a dark planet and there's a lot of purple light, but it felt like you could have, I don't know, brought it to life a little bit more with a little bit different lighting. But yeah, I think these are the images I was thinking about, scale, having a little bit more detail in these structures to be able to communicate that it's a larger scale. But other than that, really great work. Is beautiful, beautiful stuff.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I tried to add some styles here to understand the scale more.
Your project, Maria, I love your color palette. Love that you have combined this like very fluid language with these like, intricate details, and that's not only on the scale of the thesis, but all chapters. They keep the same design language. So congrats on that, and very good job on the presentation.
Thank you.
Great presentation, Maria. It is so nice to see you grow technically, because you just nailed it with Houdini all the way from the chapter 1 to the end. It's so nice to see you. And as the bike is your favorite, is mine too, and also the processes. So I love the scene in your video with the guys on the bike and it's flying around. And I just love the color palette and the video compilation that we did. Just makes sense of the entire mesmerizing world in one scene. It was super nice. But overall, it's a great job.
Thank you.
Hey, Maria. I just wanted to congratulate you. You took a challenge to work in Houdini, and I think you pretty much acquired what you wanted to achieve. In my opinion, your forms are super captivating. Your color palette is like super fun, super vivid, and I love the way that you kind of like created a middle ground for something that is super technical and like something also like really elegant. I love that you have so many items and you find a way to sort of like represent them and combine them in a system that is looking very elegant. I'm talking about the main shape of your amalgamation. There was this comment about the lighting, which I totally agree. I don't want to repeat that comment, but in the video, I think there was a bit of a lighting issue. So if you can like revisit that video and the composition, and I think this whole project is like super amazing in my opinion. And it was super fun to work with you as well. Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Maria. We can move to the next project.
Kim.
Okay, So we have Shivani and Akash presenting After Earth 01.
Hello. Okay, so greetings to all. I am Shivani Jaiswal and I'm an architect and I come from India.
I'm Akash Roger. I'm an architect from India.
Welcome to the new world of After Earth 01. We would like you to join us on our exhilarating expedition through the evolving realm of DesignMorphine Masters. It all began with the world of artificial intelligence, giving tangible shape to our wildest visions. The development of this region started with procedural modeling, paving the way for the subsequent advancement in complex polygon modeling and stream processes. By developing an understanding of generative algorithms and different growth systems, we progressed our way in the different expedition using various software. It was a journey of growth and evolution. So fasten your seatbelts for the journey ahead. In Hindu cosmology, existence is divided into 4 yugas: Satyug, Dwapar, Treta, and Kalyug. We are currently in Kalyug, a time of declining virtues. Scientists anticipate the end of the world. Using futuristic technology, they tried communicating with various species. Finally, an alien species responded, offering to accept humans in exchange for transferring data and information needed for their upgradation. This new world has all the necessary habitat condition similar to that on the Earth, but better. With the aim to have a spiritually sound and scientifically evolved world, having all the ideal conditions, humans agreed on the deal. Scientists contemplate how to send souls to Satyug to ensure their adaptation and survival. They collaborate with the aliens to create suitable embryos that genetically mutate and develop body extensions. In this new world of Satyug, the resulting hybrid, to be known as Human 2.0, is designed to survive in water, air, and land. This hybrid combines traits from birds, fishes, and humans. It possesses streamlined body and super evolved mind.
The skin of the hybrid disintegrates, revealing disc-shaped bones that form the skeleton. The layers of the hybrid include a simplified nerve system, fluid bulbs, and Voronoi-wrapped skeleton edges that efficiently capture solar energy on which the hybrid survives. The hybrid develops elastic underarm wings. The deformed skull integrates emotionally expressive wings, and a silver alloy neckpiece attached to the spine enables mind control, allowing the hybrids to communicate and control their senses and reflexes. Human 2.2 embodies science and spirituality, resembling real people with knowledge in various fields. They are female, asexual beings free from struggle to find a mate. These hybrids have a white tinge symbolizing peace, purity, and grandeur, befitting their presence in this new perfect world. In their new existence, the hybrids envision grand fluidic castle-like structures that seamlessly harmonized effortlessly with the environment. They embarked on a complex project to create a sustainable and beautiful habitat inspired by their own advanced bodies. Inspired by their shoulder structure, petal-shaped pods were created resembling a lotus flower. These pods were interconnected by stretched membranes reminiscent of hybrids' underarm wings. The organic touch of Voronoi veins enveloped the petal pods, while glossy strokes on the petals drew inspiration from the violet bulbs of Human 2.0. The corpuscle, composed of interconnected petal-shaped pods, housed private spaces like resting domes and hallways, as well as workspaces such as laboratories and workshops. This piece of architecture was named Ameliorator. 2 nodes served as meditation chambers and facilitated easy transit within the corpuscle.
Meditation chambers showcase weaving components that seamlessly extended from the floor to the walls and roof, bathed in gentle emissive light. The all-white interiors symbolize peace and spirituality. Within the petal pods, the laboratories became the hub for species research and development. The furniture followed the same nature-inspired design language. The corpuscle encompassed laboratories, a landing pad, and a stargazing deck. Amongst a layer of vegetation on the top, the stargazing deck offered breathtaking views of the natural aurora in the environment. The corpuscles bore my arm extensions followed for seamless integration with the other corpuscles in all directions. Hybrid beings settled in the corpuscle and developed their civilization, searching for the ideal location. They carefully planned and designed their new world, emphasizing the integration of living, leisure, and workspaces. Their goal was to connect the diverse terrains of cliffs, islands, and plateaus. The resulting design was an organic cluster that flowed fluently, resembling a wave at a beach. This organic cluster, when viewed from above, resembled inverted S-shaped pattern. To create a cohesive whole, they broke down the corpuscle into modular parts and categorized them based on the occupancy. Focusing on towers, they connected the pods vertically, branching in pyramid geometry. They multiplied the connectors to create a bridge extending to both banks of the water bodies. These bridge extensions blended seamlessly with the towers. Ground aggregation was generated by connecting pod-to-pod links, which ensured integration and structural stability. They named this close-knit neighborhood cluster Synthopolis.
Recognizing the importance of public spaces, assembling followed the plan sequence, integrating living, work pods, healing, and spiritual centers into the main tower. The cliff was designated an open-air theater, providing a stunning backdrop for performances and cultural events. The educational complex became a part of flatland applications. The bridge connecting the aggregation became the most important element of the design, as it served as a crucial link between different parts of the community. The hybrids took pride in the thriving civilization, understanding the community's significance. The hybrids understood the importance of mobility and efficient transportation. They designed and constructed advanced automobiles, including the unique Mercurial Flyer. The Mercurial was a two-seater, medium-sized flyer with foldable wings, allowing it to occupy less space when parked. Its self-lit hull frame provided both protection and style, while the material used to blend seamlessly into the environment. Powered by solar energy and controlled by hybrids' minds, the Mercurial combines style, aerodynamics, and convenience. Atlas, a mothership carrying 50 passengers, featured two aerodynamic wings for stability and motility in space. It had the ability to carry up to 10 private vehicles on its top, securely towed. Skilled pilots operated the ship from dedicated cockpit equipped with advanced navigation systems. The bottom two decks of the Atlas were designed for passengers' comfort, offering lounges and sleeping pods and entertainment systems for an enjoyable journey through space.
The dock served as a highly efficient transportation hub, with a radial structure resembling a floor. It had a private vehicle parking area on the outer layer, a waiting area for hybrids in the middle layer, and a central space for public vehicles such as Atlas. The private vehicle network connected to the corpuscle's landing pad, allowing seamless travel within the amalgamation through tunnels and corridors. Meanwhile, the public vehicle network wrapped around the amalgamation with stops at junctions where passengers could embark or disembark, including the options to attach and detach their private vehicles. This innovative transportation system marked a new era of possibility for humans, promising efficient and swift travel for generations to come. The initial amalgamation combined towers, bridges, and horizontal aggregation, resulting in a unique urban landscape of vertical diversity and interconnectedness. The hybrids continue to generate variations in amalgamation, exploring new possibilities. They carefully selected compatible variations to create colonies that complemented each other in aesthetics and functionality. Multiple colonies combined to form a dynamic and ever-evolving urban landscape. The hybrids discovered a majestic region of canyons that met the sea near a forest area. They found potential settlement sites close to existing alien colonies, aiming for harmonious coexistence. The hybrids embraced sustainability by tapping into renewable sources for their energy requirements, incorporating solar panels into their structure and utilizing advanced technology to harness hydro energy from nearby water sources. Green spaces were incorporated into industrial areas, balancing progress with biodiversity preservation. Highways connected hybrid communities and alien settlements, promoting seamless iterations. Innovative sea links bridged landmasses and expanded cities. Pockets ideal for public spaces were found, harmoniously integrated into the natural terrain. These spaces fostered cultural exchange and community among the hybrids and aliens.
The hybrids embarked on transforming the world into an interconnected hybrid, showcasing coexistence and progress. The population grew rapidly, leading to city expansion and the embrace of nature and aliens. The hybrids celebrated diversity, learning from one another and embracing unique talents. They thrived in harmonious coexistence, leaving a legacy of unity and cooperation. This success showcased the potential of hybrids to achieve greatness by embracing the unknown. But some aliens saw the Human 2.2 as a threat to their existence, believing they would bring chaos and destruction. The Human 2.2, on the other hand, genuinely wanted to assist the aliens. They believed that their knowledge and advancements could enhance the lives of the alien beings. However, their intentions were misunderstood and met with resistance. Tensions grew as Human 2.0 tried to teach the aliens and introduce new technologies. In the midst of chaos and agony, it was difficult to discern who was truly right. The aliens and the Human 2.0 were driven by their own fears, desires, and misunderstandings. It is up to you, audience, to ponder the complexities of the situation and make your own judgment about who you think should survive and who you think are the true heroes or the villains in this tale of clashes between different worlds.
The ancient Hindu prophecy had foretold the end of the current Yuga, Kali Yuga. As the end of the world approached, scientists had predicted the demise of humanity. The scientists made contact with a world far beyond our own, light years away, with the aim of transferring souls to ensure the survival of our species. The aliens created genetically modified embryos for the human souls to inhabit, resulting in the ultimate hybrid beings, Human 2.0. At the neighborhood level, Human 2.0 created this architectural moral, Synthepolis. Its innovative design harmonized technology and organic principles, creating a vibrant community. Hybrids understood the importance of mobility and efficient transportation. They created Mercurial, a flyer, and Atlas, a mothership. The Human 2.0 genuinely wanted to assist the aliens. They believed that their knowledge and advancements could enhance the lives of the alien beings. However, their intentions were misunderstood and met with resistance. It is now up to you to ponder the complexities of the situation and make your own judgment. about who you believe are the true heroes or villains in this tale of clashes between different species.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Super beautiful presentation. I think you did such an incredible job taking us through the whole story, narrative that you've created. I've said this before, but I need to say it now also, like, as you know, like your finals are here, you were really like one of the teams that like grew so much throughout this process, and you were taking so well like all comments and growing throughout like each chapter. So that's really like something that like, you know, like it's really a big thing, like to be able to absorb information and to grow no matter, you know, like where the starting point is. And there are many students like in the program that like they might not have like computational design, you know, like background, or not even 3D design background, which wasn't your case because you guys are architects, both of you. But in your case, I feel that like you were just learning so much, and you were expanding your knowledge and applying it to every aspect of the project. I do feel obviously that there are like some, you know, like opportunities like to, you know, like look into more and more like into like topology and clean topology, because I think that like as you guys were importing a lot of the materials like into Unreal, like that's where, you know, a lot of teams like were having challenges and really understanding how important this aspect is. But again, it's part of the process, it's part of learning. So really congratulations. Super, super amazing to have been working with you guys like this year. It was really a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Prasad.
We give great credits to DesignMorphine, of course, and all the tutors. The people who are really amazing. And thank you for keeping the patience. I know we were tough one to deal with, but yeah, thank you.
No, guys, you weren't, because that's like what the most important part is, like listening and wanting to better yourself and never giving up and trying to really like push forward. So that's, you know, that's not like how this is. It was really like, you know, I think that like I speak from all the DesignMorphine team that I'm saying that like this is really like admirable.
Thank you, means a lot.
Thank you.
Maybe also comment on my side. Congratulations, guys, for your work. Really impressive. I hope you can hear me because I'm not in a public space. I was really impressed by this urban planning that you presented. Actually, I was thinking about this idea also of using a stigmergy to start a little bit understanding how this could reflect into a system to organize a space and create clusters of areas, and then you suddenly introduce this layering of this public space and this ecosystem that at the end was generated by eventually really this capacity through the stigmergy to read and react and generate this infrastructure, no, that split in multiple areas this new urban settlement that is generated. So on this side, quite interesting. Also this implementation. Regarding the structure that you are using, I was thinking that it could be funny to hear Jonas Friedman to speak about as well this hyper structure that suddenly is starting to populate this environment. But in that sense, when you introduce a structure like this, again, it would be interesting if you combine it once again to the idea of a morphology that reacts to the environment. And I guess now you have all the tools to start connecting through your design approach every single morphology that you generate to external forces that at the end can also dictate the final shape that all these elements are starting to assume. No, so many times you were speaking about a capsule that react to solar energy, to wind, etc. And now that you master the design and morphology, it will be interesting to start including a data-driven approach to understand how external forces can really start to react to these elements. Okay, so that said, it just, I guess, represents an extra step, another step in the evolution of your design protocol. But once again, congratulations for you and also the previous designers for the beauty of the narrative that you are also generating.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Also, thank you for guiding for the next step. So yeah, we can totally incorporate that. Thank you.
Congrats, guys! Very nice presentation. I mean, I remember like the beginnings of your journey as well. I know it like took a little bit of time for you guys to find your feet, but I think as a team, you were always very persistent and consistent in what you were doing. I actually, like, in the presentation itself, really enjoyed the narrative, and I think there were quite a few like things that sort of cropped up like as details within the narrative that were quite interesting to me, but I wonder whether they could have informed the design even more. You know, you at some point you kind of mentioned that this is like gynomorphic society where it's like the individuals are female, but then there's also a mention of like spiritual centers existing in these structures. So I feel like there were many implications as to how like this new society would function or how it would differ to the human society as we know it. But I would have preferred to see a little bit more discussion and like actual consequences that that has for like living space. And I think as a general comment, maybe for other teams as well, I think we've seen quite a few where, let's say, the subjects of the project are all in some ways anthropomorphic, but like departing quite severely from what we kind of read as human. And that there was quite a few situations in which sort of this is in my view like a step forward in terms of like design challenges, but then it takes a step back when we actually see them like engaging in actions or let's say behaviors that like are almost too human. So it kind of looks like it's just like a human wearing a costume rather than like a radical change in how like an individual traverses like built space. So I think there would be like a little bit more of an opportunity to kind of take your own narrative, like your own suppositions about who the subject is, and really let that inform the space making and architectural design even further, so that you kind of place yourself in this position where we really kind of sort of problematize how certain architectural elements, even like furniture, as you were saying, can be reimagined. Because it's kind of one thing to sort of see this subject that's very like developed and very different, but then another when you kind of say like, okay, so let's make a coffee table for it. Like it kind of takes a step back in a sense from like what you are sort of already outlining in your own narrative in the beginning by engaging with like say like a mutated species that looks quite different to us. So all in all, though, it's a really impressive presentation, very interesting narrative. Like I said, I just think that there was even more opportunity maybe to like really dig deep into like those initial suppositions that you've made about the society. But in general, yeah, congratulations, lovely presentation, guys.
Thank you
so much. You can actually redo the entire project with those points that you mentioned. So thank you.
Hey guys, sorry. Okay, go for it.
Sorry. Congratulations from me too for your project and for all the efforts we can see in there. And I wanted to ask you, as architects, which part of the whole program do you think is going to be most helpful for your future practice? With which chapter did you connect the most?
Yeah, Akash, you want to go ahead?
Yeah. So in the amalgamation, like we tried joining different parts and like we parametrically created this like the whole neighborhood settlement. So like that was really like interesting and just making us think about the like how we can link this back to the real world, and you can try new things with these. And yeah, like you can use the computational power to be built on the world. Yeah, this is what
awesome.
This is like, yeah, that's something.
So I guess you can explore future in computational design in urban planning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
I would like to add to this, like coming from the architectural background, of course, the amalgamation chapter and even the city planning thing was quite an interesting thing because we knew what we were doing. But honestly, the automobile designing and the character designing was something very challenging and fun to deal with like, you know, sort of zero knowledge to it. So all in all, I would say I would give credits to all the chapters. It was really fun dealing with all of them.
Yeah, like every chapter had their own advantages. Like even like the designing of vehicles was really different, and we used like procedural modeling, and we came out like with a good form which can help the design.
And do you consider moving away from architecture after this master's?
Not really.
Probably not. Yeah.
But we see like we have other options as well, so we can keep exploring different aspects. So yeah, just in case if we get bored of architecture.
I mean, since you guys were talking about urban settlements and just right now, can you go to this? I think you had an animation somewhere where it was just a site and then things start growing and then you show the whole thing at some point. Because I mean, I think to me, as much as that of course, I mean, before I give in my comments, incredible work, really great depth, really great graphics, incredible design. But I mean, to me, again, maybe you've already touched upon that already, but to me, there's one question about the growth of these elements where, I mean, the animation is not really showing them. I mean, are they kind of growing out of each other? Are they kind of assembled? I question that. The first thing is maybe you guys have an answer, but then if we go back to the urban settlement or the urban strategy here, since you guys also are interested in taking it further, I would watch out for repetition. Yeah. When it comes to, I mean, even when we're designing a boring city, right? I mean, and as of course this is exceptional work, but when choose to go towards repetition, the first thing that comes in is sort of we wanted to create a cohesive image of the aesthetics, right? As you start replicating these elements. And if you're doing this procedurally, then there is an element in procedural modeling where we can start to play with the parameters to where repetition becomes almost like a variation of the previous step, right? Like, you know, you repeat something and then next step is slightly different and the next step is slightly different, to where the starting point and the end point are not the same. And I was hoping to see some of that, like in the spine area, right? That is almost a perfect repetition of the same element. Maybe there's a slight variation. So I would, you know, if you're going towards this urban conversation, just watch out, you know, I mean, maybe repetition is one thing, but then maybe diversifying a little bit so that you don't end up with a lot of sort of boring spines of the same thing, because at some point you lose some of the elegance of the actual bits and pieces that you really designed, right? When you zoomed in. And then also at some point, I mean, as much as I love these images, at some point in this sort of or bird's eye view that shows the whole thing, things start to get a little chaotic because of the repetition. Right? So maybe there's a variation a little bit here and there where you can bring that whole composition together. I think it would take it to the next step. But of course, that's just a comment. I think the work overall is incredible. So.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
That is worth thinking upon. So thank you.
Yeah, I actually want to second Wesam in these comments. I also noticed the aspect of repetition, and yes, again, it's not very clear to me if there is like a real intentionality for this. But maybe as a next chapter, what you could explore is you know, how this urban settlement could engage more with grow growth or sprawling systems, or even energy efficiency motivations, and definitely explore into not only the part-to-whole relationships, but also part-to-part. And in that way, you could actually get variations and different approaches to towards the final morphology of your composition. Yeah, so that it has a bit more complexity or justification. But again, the visuals are like super compelling, amazing design, and congratulations. Yeah.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Congratulations, guys. Great job. It was
Thank
so
you.
nice. It was always so nice to work with you because you had a very sleek idea of your design and concept that you kept pushing, no matter how detailed it went, how complex it went, but the sleekness kept throughout, which was super nice. And other than that, as Paulina said, you had a nice the map of growth that you guys had. You were always accepting the comments really well, and you were always eager to learn more, which is highly appreciative. And like I really appreciate that attitude towards the work that you always had, and you never gave up no matter how hard it went on you, but you always like did it really well, and you can see the overall outcomes from where you started to now, and I'm very happy to see that too.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Ella.
so much.
Okay, then we can move to the next project. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, we have Prasad presenting Litotopia.
Thank you, Eva. 1 second. Let me just get my sheet. Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Prasad, an architect from India. Join me on an adventure in Nidotopia, the captivating underwater haven. In this realm, the Nidoids, a unique humanoid Nidarian species, thrive, intricately connected by cybernetic elements and gelatinous membranes. Explore the remarkable fusion of nature and technology, revealing groundbreaking advancements in robotics and bioengineering. Using poly and mesh-based modeling software, we create adaptive Nidroids for the dynamic underwater environment. Non-destructive workflows and procedural techniques build their habitat, the corpuscle. At an urban scale, computational rules guide cluster design, with procedural hard surface modeling and road systems enabling mobility. By encoding behavior, simulating particles, and utilizing generative systems, the Nidroid world blossomed. Discover a fresh perspective on ocean exploration and colonization as you witness the birth of resilient Nidroids, their adaptive habitats, and their interconnected society. In 2222, vast lands were swallowed by oceans, forcing people to flee cities in search of refuge. Soon, major nations triggered an all-out war, resulting in a permanent nuclear winter, pushing humanity to collapse's edge. Amidst this catastrophe, Captain Spectre and 300 aquanauts became the first sole survivors. Equipped with biomechanical suits and Nidarian-based DNA gills, they sought shelter 30 meters below the sea level, temporarily shielded from the worst effects of the winter. Escalating radiation levels demanded urgent efforts to sustain the suits for survival. Unaware that they were already irradiated, they descended into deep waters. Exposure caused DNA mutations, double-strand DNA breaks, compromising genetic material and requiring repairs. In the prevailing conditions, DNA underwent misrepair, triggering a complete transformation. Irreparable organ damage led to mechanical replacements, securing their continued existence. A new species had emerged, the Nidroids. The captain, affected first, underwent study and his mutation was documented. Radiation targeted his brain, turning his skin blue. Advanced mechanical interventions allowed him to survive as a cyborg. Tentacles sprouted from his brain, while gelatinous membranes formed the medusae, giving rise to polyps. Each needroid had a cybernetic cranial probe, a pulmonary system, gelatinous tentacloids, and synthetic neurites. The gelatinous layer aided locomotion and oxygen absorption. Neurotentacles provided support and defense. Shoulder sacs stored energy, while dorsal sacs served as the respiratory apparatus. Cybernetic enhancements included a CPU, sensors, vocal cords, and terminal vents. A filtration system separated the blood from the venom, while medusae facilitated a hive-mind connection. The extremity orifice released polyps, and oral arms assisted in feeding and hunting. In prime form, a needroid exhibited layers of human skin, oral arms, the umbrella, a tantalum body panels, external skin, and breathing sacs. With maturity, they transform into full-fledged cnidarians. The bionic cyber head was shed, and the brain merged with the bell. The torso and the leg also changed significantly. Mutations vary based on the cnidarian DNA in their suits. The crew evolved into 4 subspecies with distinct abilities, forming a society of researchers, hunters, defenders, and builders. Being resourceful, the needroids recognized the potential of utilizing the polyps released from the bells as habitats. They created pods using matured polyps, augmented with mechanical interventions. Multiple pods of the same species formed a unit constituting a corpuscle. The Genesis Tower with a corpuscle housed the DNA codex, incubation and decay pods, with a central connector ensuring structural stability and circulation. Evolved polyps served as living quarters, while tantalum steel bodies were workspaces. M3 needroids occupied the top decks, M2 and M1 on mid and lower decks, respectively. A life cycle started from an incubation pod at the tower's bottom, progressing towards the unit. Now, let's explore the builder unit's functioning. The intricate organic system resembled a gelatinous musculature, with an external mesoglial layer for digestion and vacuum tubes connected organically and the mechanic layers through high suction. Pod interiors had state-of-the-art amenities, replicators, kneaderbots, and control rigs. Cybernetic enhancements played a crucial role in their society, almost like a rite of passage, ensuring the survival and adaptation to the ever-changing underwater conditions. This augmentation extended beyond their bodies. Armature in units connected, expanding the society into a neighborhood. The first step towards expansion involved core elements, structural connectors, docks, and power sources. This core interconnected with a community center, a defense unit, a Genesis tower, a smaller residential unit, and a larger one, forming the initial cluster. The second level had a structural core serving as a private network, along with a civic spiral tower. Connections between the community center, residential area, and the defense units led to a fully functioning tower. Rules were guided by polyp growth. Clusters emerged and proliferated until large polyps became inhabitable spaces. The core and the private network preceded the spiral base, with clusters gradually built, resulting in the first tower. Eventually, a second tower formed, and thus a neighborhood cluster. The neighborhood had 3 zones: the Turris Gigantea, the benthic polyps publica, and Turris nuclea, serving as the admin tower, public center, and the codex tower, respectively. Defense and admin clusters were at the top. The residential zone was in the middle, and the civic area at the base. The central public space featured an arena enveloped by mesoglial and muscular layers with a tantalum cybernetic entrance. Initially, the middle public spaces connected the towers, but a better navigation system was needed for movement through the neighborhood. At the outset, the needroids relied on the Nido 042, an advanced jetpack that integrated with their bodies. The jetpack consisted of a hydrometallic torso and a propulsion tentacle. In swimmer mode, the tentacles generated a vortex for propulsion, while in the crawler mode, a synaptic mech link facilitated the polyp search. Coelomic fluid injected into the tentacles provided musculature for smooth crawling on the ocean floor. The jetpack's aquadynamic shell was streamlined for withstanding currents and extreme depths. The transmuter converted the tentacle energy into the fuel, and integration matrices processed and transmitted information through techno-wave strands, enhancing the vehicle's awareness. Expert navigation was facilitated by acceleron handles and aqua command console. The jetpack docked at the Nakkeeran aquaport within the tower's core. Utilizing the structural connector as its primary network for swift access. Charging docks with the aquaport powered the Nero 042 and also served as a hangar. However, for longer journeys, the need for a more capable vehicle arose, the Civetti 021. This jet efficiently transported multiple Nedroids and cargo with rapid retractable talons and a responsive propeller. The Civetti 021 comprised a navigator unit and passenger transit pods, featuring a command bridge, a cargo nexus, and tentacular glide strands, and the neurocybercortex, which served as its brain and gave complete driver control. The passenger module connected to the navigator unit via a coupler and had an external defense system. Access doors in the middle of the passenger module provided entry, and tentacle wires offered flexibility for navigating rough waters. The public aquaport, located at the extremity of the private network, also followed a similar system. Nedroids access this jet through the private network and then use the aqualink to reach strategically placed aqua hubs in the public zone, ensuring efficient connectivity and access to all public spaces. This marked the beginning of a new era of expansion, equipping the Nedroids with the means to explore the ocean floor depths with ease. Expansion required assessing the ocean bed and mapping radiation-affected areas. Edge and contour analysis identified cluster growth points based on the depth. Further study led to quantized maps, isolating valleys, ridges, and nutrient deposits. Light values were analyzed using projected caustics. The amalgamation began between the ocean floor's cliffs. Some polyps could not develop and remained in a residue state. Expanding polyps grew strands as nutrient absorbers with a central core. The amalgamation matured, completing the cluster. Neighborhood units had different configurations: type A, a single unit; type B, with 3 units; type C, with 6 units; and type D, with 8 units. Gelatinous strands formed a tertiary layer with its thickness dictated by nutrient absorption. Defense units were located at the end of thicker strands, housing industrial and residential areas. Thinner strands house the transit hub and recreation regions, all connected to the central civic core. Other polyps grew, forming a secondary layer of transit, resulting in a larger localized clusters with protective layers. Local clusters eventually started connecting to each other. They thickened to form a main secondary network. The expressway was built along the ridges surrounding the clusters. An exploration network using projected caustics aided the researchers and crawlers. A primary network was thus formed. Expansion faced a setback with the discovery of the Borisenko. The expressway and exploration route avoided the radiation zone where the clusters froze. Caused by erratic weather conditions due to the nuclear winter, the Borisenko, a groundward growing icicle known as the finger of death, freezes anything in its path. Multiple polyps thus formed the amalgamation clusters, connected by various network layers, thereby creating distinct functional spaces, such as the Tower of Immortality. This gave rise to Nedotopia, the world of the Nedarians. As the flourishing world of the Nedroids continues to amaze, an ominous threat looms on the horizon. A sinister presence in the form of the Borisenko threatens their very existence and casts a shadow over the entire realm. But fear not, for the Neroids are not the ones to surrender. Second, I think I'm not sharing the sound. Just a second. Second. Am I sharing the sound? Okay, okay.
Yep.
All right, sorry about that.
Catherine, I'm sorry, I wasn't able to stop it. I understand what is the sacred festival of immortality, and it isn't appropriate to discuss such matters here. Meet me at the HQ. I promise we'll find a way out.
Wait, see, nothing worked.
No, I tried everything. We're running out of time, and their existence is in great danger, and I'm only sure what to do. Must act quickly before it's too late. Captain, actually, it's great timing. But she's really the major part of the situation. It's worse than we imagined. Slow down. Tell me what's happening. It's critical, Captain. It's at level 3 now. It's rapidly freezing entire clusters right now. Casing on 5 Androids, ice within minutes. District 9 is on the brink of collapse, and it's teetering on the edge of annihilation. We need a site evacuation. This is our defining moment. We have to harness the power. It's our only chance to possess the unique abilities required. Even if it means that we may not, we must sacrifice of few makes the way, the survival of the name. We will overcome any obstacle to fulfill our duty.
Thank you, Prasad.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for the wonderful presentation and video, the hard work throughout the whole year. You have been a powerhouse of your own from the beginning of the program. I know how much effort you have put even before that to prepare and to really get into this really amazing and impressive work. You have been very systematic throughout the whole process, very open-minded, and very, accepting of learning and very patient. So thank you so much. It was really a pleasure working with you. The project is really amazing, and it's really amazing that you were able really to push so hard throughout the whole process and achieve this quality of work all by yourself throughout the whole program.
Thank you guys for all your help. That's all.
I'll jump in. I think really nice work. You certainly raised the bar on kind of the idea of dystopia. This really kind of hits, I think, that pretty clearly. I think what's really nice about the work is that you have a really kind of good tension between kind of the synthetic and kind of, I guess, the natural in a way, right? I mean, obviously naming your cyborgs, neutoroids, and using that as kind of the muse is clear. And I think that there is this really nice tension, which is difficult to do. So well done on that. I would find it, one thing that maybe I'd suggest is to kind of push that a little bit further. So for me, when you were talking about the kind of 4 different, I think, roles, right? So it's right there, researchers, hunters, defenders, builders. Immediately that reminded me of kind of plasticity that you see in kind of collective systems in nature, right? Like ants, for example, right? And that you're not, an ant isn't just a forager or a defender, but if required, right, they can change their roles over time. And that's interesting to me because you mentioned society, but you didn't really go any deeper than just saying there's a society. So I'd be very interested to understand, like, how do they work together, right? How does the society actually function? How are they building these things that you're, talking about? How do they defend? And what does it mean, for this new society to have these different roles, and really kind of push that narrative, through the architecture and design that you're developing. But yeah, really nice work, really interesting story. So well done.
Yeah, I'll look into that for sure. Those are very interesting points. I've been thinking about the society itself, but I think I need more time to explore it, and probably will maybe try to come up with something that can make it more rounded, in the sense of the whole word, that is. Thank you. Thanks for the comments.
Congratulations, Prasad, also from me. It's very, very high quality work, very detailed, also very well presented. It was so nice to see your progress during all the chapters and this grand finale. So congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, this is really beautiful work. I was also super impressed with all the character animation in the video. I know that is not easy work. Something that also stood out to me, though, was these kind of role differentiations. And I know that you do have some kind of visual differentiation on a material level between them. And maybe I wasn't clear totally on how fluid they are between roles, but I think it would be good to explore a little bit more of utility about how they could evolve to look differently based on what their role is, and to what Evan was saying, I think you'd have to dive in a little bit deeper into what the roles mean exactly first. But I really like the idea of that. It adds a nice dimensionality to the societal element of it. So, but this is really, really beautiful work. So awesome job.
Thanks a lot. It means a lot. Thank you. The initial idea behind it was that I just differentiate them based on maybe what type of jellyfish species, like what DNA they had. But then, yeah, I didn't really get time to probably delve in. I think I'd probably do that. So it was just, I started researching which jellyfish had what type of sort of strengths, so as to say. And I thought I'd go with that. That's why I started with the Aurelian, just like a basic, jellyfish, like what everybody knows, it's just common. But I think I'll have to maybe just go, dive deep, so to say, and yeah, maybe check that out. I'll do that for sure. Thank you so much.
Yeah, also, Prasad, great work. I was more involved with the first chapter where you were doing the body and all of that stuff. So it's really nice to see where this all came to, and just all your details, and yeah, it's just really beautiful.
Yeah, thank you.
Presentation.
Thank you.
Hey,
Prasad
Prasad.
from, okay,
Oh.
sorry, go ahead.
No,
Go ahead.
please. It's like.
Okay, just a very quick comment from my side. When you started at the human scale, it was quite interesting, this dialectic correlation that you were generating between organic and synthetic forms. So the idea to have an armor that was extremely artificial and to combine this system with an organic living organism that could adapt or somehow grow into this artificial new shell was extremely well thought and also well designed, I would say. And probably I was kind of expecting to see this dualism also when you were shifting in the next chapter at the urban scale once again. Very well executed and also very interesting, this combinatorial system of growth that then generated all the assembly logic to have this urban settlement expanding into this land. But probably there you could have played again with this idea of combining the artificial and the synthetic and the organic, so the synthetic and the organic. So that is probably just probably one thing that I would say that was a little bit an exciting line that you could have be more coherent to follow. But on the other side, let me also congratulate you, because there was an impressive amount of work and incredible scenarios and really motivating and context that you were generating. So congratulations. But once again, probably if you consider that this armor is the very first element that you build to correlate your activity of the body to a specific ecosystem, maybe once again, maybe keep this line, and if there is any possible iteration, try to reflect it into this built environment that then you want to forge.
Okay. Yeah. No. Yeah. I'll look into that for sure. I will comment. Thank you. Thank you for the comments.
Hey, Prasad. I wanted to say I really enjoyed your presentation. Thank you so much for your hard work. I've seen that you took some time to went back to a few, projects. I mean, like docking station, for example, and you really added details, which was really super excited to see for me. We've always admired your details, but this time I think it's like the top notch. So and each graphic, each diagram, I think stand out on their own, and I really love the video. But I think it would be really cool if you would just give a bit more screen time to the entire system. I think there were like some small clips from the interior, which was super really nice in the quality, but I think your entire system is really, really amazing as well. I would love to see that a bit more. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thanks for all your help. Thank you.
I want to congratulate you too. It's very nice work. I mean, now when you are zooming into these systems which you model in detail, it's very nice to see that you took into account that you're underwater, that there are going to be a lot of movement, that they have multiple joints, so it makes it feel like they are possible to kind of swim in the water, and that there is actually in your environment a constant movement, what we haven't seen in the projects before, because they were not in the water. So it's very nice to see how you adapted to the environment. And I just wanted to see that, I just wanted to say that looking at all of these projects, there is as well a large congratulations that needs to go to all of your tutors from the DesignMorphine, because it's fantastic to see, to which level you guys all managed to develop the projects and how many softwares you managed to learn, and that each of the projects is very unique. So congratulations to you, and as well to the entire collective at DesignMorphine.
No, thank you.
Thank you, Lenka. Thank you, everyone. It has been really an amazing year being with these guys. Truly a privilege to be able to explore, to push the boundaries of design, imagination, to free ourselves, you know, from reality in a way. But you know, this has been given really the students a great opportunity to grow, a great opportunity to free their mind, and really take a different approach into even understanding who they are, what they're really interested in, creating their own narratives. And definitely the team has been incredible and so supportive throughout the whole endeavor, because again, like you see how each you know, like of these students as individuals, they're so special and so different, but the projects also reflect exactly their individuality. So I feel that this is the biggest success really of this program, in my opinion. And also that we're a collective in DesignMorphine, and this is a great opportunity to grow the collective with more really talented individuals that are so passionate about design. And I'm very hopeful that we'll keep in touch more and more in the future with more opportunities. So yes, I just wanted to thank you for today, for everyone for coming. We have the second day tomorrow, so the next group is going to be presenting. Very excited for this. But before you leave, I just wanted to ask you to wait for 30 seconds so we can greet you properly.